Hello everyone, and welcome to round 2 of the Syndicate Racing League. I'm Crab, otherwise known as Gareth, and we're just about to get underway. But first I thought I'd just take everyone through the championship standings. So, should see them on screen now. Top of the driver standings at the moment is Struggs in the Williams after winning last week. It's basically the finishing order last week, as the fastest lap was outside of the top 10, so Matusas didn't get a point. Second is the reserve driver Keji. Third is Scholar Bull. Fade has 12 points in fourth. OS Degrees rounding up the top 5. Last year's second place runner-up is in fifth position with 10 points. The constructors, Williams, 37 points. They maximised their weekend last week. Not quite maximum points, but the best of the lot. Yes, last weekend. Aston Martin on 18 points, thanks to the reserve driver Keji. Ferrari got a good handful of points, good teamwork for them. Got them 18 points, and Alfa Romeo in fourth in the championship with 15 points. So looking forward to the Canadian Grand Prix this weekend. We are running the first of 3 sprint sessions this year. So the first one is at Canada, second I believe is at Monza, and the final one is at Brazil. So let's switch to big screen as we go into the race lobby. Here we are. So it's a short qualifying session for the sprint weekend. That means 18 minutes is now on the clock. We'll be seeing who can set the pace and having a quick look at the weather for this weekend. So qualifying looks dry to me. Race the next session, the sprint race, also looks dry. So I'm not quite sure how the sprint race fares up, but I'm not hearing anything other different from the grid, unless there is rain coming and my app's telling me wrong. So we have the first cars going out on grid. An Aston Martin of Louis Rivest. He's back. First race of the season for him after being out on holiday and COVID. So he's hoping to return for form. Expecting good things from the new number 1 driver at Aston Martin after I've left my race seat. He was the best of the number 2s last year. Let's put it that way. Struggs also on track. Fast qualifier. He's just behind the Alfa Romeo of Scholar Bull. So we'll go on board with Louis Rivest. Yeah, buddy, in the Discord. And we'll see. Let's have some telemetry up and some lap data. Everyone on the softs, of course, as there's no preferential or strategic reason to go on the mediums and hards now. A bit of a glitch today. Looked like he was flying into the wall of the champions, but just a bit of desync there as he starts his lap, cuts the timing beam, and begins sector 1. So this is go on board, running into turn 2, the Senna S Virage, as you head into turn 3. This part of the track's called Pont de la Concorde. And into turn 5, tricky left-hander. You want to use as much curve as possible to guide that wheel around, hook it through. And he gets on the power nicely into the first of 3 DRS zones on this track. And there's a yellow flag through the back straight as he comes up to L'Épingle, I think that's correct. Translates to hairpin in French, presumably French at least. The hairpin where Nigel Mansell once stalled whilst waving to the crowd, quite famously, on the final lap of the Grand Prix. As he goes past the old pit start-finish straight and towards the new one, towards the Wall of Champions, really tricky on track limits. Let's see, he threads it nicely through. This will be our benchmark from the Aston Martin, and it's a 1:11.7, so good pace out the doors for Louis Rivest in the Aston Martin. Liking what I'm seeing. 1:11.7, I think that would have beaten me certainly. And Matusas does a 1:11.9. As we watch Struggs go through the wall of champions, one of our quicker qualifiers. Let's see how he does. Splits the timing beam, and he is up into first, a 1:10.9. So just only 8 tenths quicker. Fence is at a 1:11.5. Quick qualifier Fence. Can he have a bit more form in the race this week? There's 2 races, sprint race of 23 laps and a feature race of 70 laps. 8 points for the winner of the sprint race, 25 points for the winner of the feature race. The sprint race decides the grid for the feature race. And this session is to decide the grid of the sprint race, as we have I believe that must be Alex Trent G who's out the session. He's lost it on turn 6. So yeah, Pont de la Concorde is actually the bridge coming up here that crosses the track and connects the Circuit de Giles Villeneuve with mainland Montreal. But I believe that Pont de la Concorde, when you talked about the track, refers to turns 3, 4 and 5. So I'm not quite sure why there's that peculiarity around the track naming, but that's what I'll stick with in the race. As Mr. Duck Doodles, the Duckmeister G, takes it slow. I think he must be on an in-lap. Or just recharging the battery, I'm not sure, to be honest. He has got quite low battery, so unsure. As a Ferrari is fast approaching him behind. That'll be the Ferrari of OS Degrees, who will be heading into the pit lane. I'm sure Duck is on a lap, so apologies for saying that wasn't a lap. It's it's a 1:32, so a slow lap there, and he's heading out around again, which seems, peculiar really. If it's that slow, then he probably should have pitted. So, Struggs leading the pack in the Williams. The Williams of the Fade is in 16th. I think yet to leave the pits. We have Kev on track at the moment, pushing into the hairpin. Lip angle. On the exit, we have a bit of engagement. Calvy's here. Hello, Calvy. TD Carl saying it's a tidy lap. And Wall saying, gutted to be missing tonight. I like Canada, but work is a must there. Yeah, that's frustrating, pal. That is frustrating that you're not here this week. But back stronger, work is working. You can't really get out of that. So, IBM, the Computer Master General, here he is. He's on an outlap. We'll go on board. Well, we'll actually go off board for him and follow him around. Let's turn off the telemetry for now. Don't want to see that. This is the part of the track which was the old start-finish straight in the configurations before 1992, I believe. I'm pulling that number out my arse. I know that this is the 2002 onwards configuration, because the pit lane doesn't feed out into turn 1, it feeds out into turn 2. Whereas the 1998 and 2002 configuration fed out just before turn 1 and was quite dangerous. But that change of configuration, that shorter pit lane, means that pit times are really small, so it really opens the strategy up for multiple pit stop strategies over the one stop, especially if there's safety cars. It's such a quick waltz through the pits, especially if safety cars out. As a McLeod, I think McLeod has a bit of damage there. He's certainly gone on at the turn 6 chicane. Is it a chicane? It feels like a corner, but it is actually a chicane looking at it. If we jump back on with IBEN, trying to set a time, go on board. It's gone deep into the hairpin, but many different lines work through that hairpin as he heads for the kink of turn 11 and heads to the Turn 12-13 with the famous Wall of Champions on the exit of the right. Hopefully doesn't put it into there. Does a nice job cutting that. Where does this lap time put him as he uses the final DRS activation zone? He must have actually not got a lap time there because he must have cut a corner at some point. Kevin on an out lap. Let's just see. How's he doing? Yeah, so he's recharged his batteries. He's on another hot lap here. Let's just go again with Ben. See how he does. As he goes through that corner which McLeod got wrong last time around. Maybe the yellow flag causing some problems. I think Kev has spun at turn 2 on the start of his hot lap, so that's a shame for him. But plenty of time to recharge, take it slow. As he heads into the heavy braking zone where Robert Kubica had a huge shunt in 2007. Flipped over many times, barrel rolling and crashing into the runoff with his legs hanging out the front of the cockpit. Amazing that he only walked away from a strain with that from that one. As he comes through to the final chicane, has he done enough to set a lap time? You imagine he has. He's used a lot of EOS up. He splits the timing beam. He goes into a respectable ninth position, a 1:12.7. So, still Struggs at the top. He is on he's not on a hot lap. He's not pushing from the looks of things. Fence in the pits. AJ in the pits. So's Luke. AJ's just coming out of the pits now. Struggs taking it slow. Opening up another lap. Possibly has invalidated the lap, or maybe his out lap. Kev does set a lap time of 1:35, but obviously not representative with that spin through the second corner. And there is a yellow, presumably of AJ, going slow on his out lap. Just dips a wheel on the right-hand side of that runoff to really hook up into the inside of that corner. Kev lets Struggs through. Nice bit of play for them there. It's a purple first sector from Struggs, so going faster than his own time, certainly. There's a spinner Ferrari. He comes into the hairpin, the heavy braking zone, lines himself up, tries to open up this corner as best as possible because this is the long back straight. And as he comes around the corner, he opens up DRS through the kink, over the undulating flats. He's gone to pits. He's gone to pits. So fastest first sector, but maybe an invalidation in the middle sector there. So let's go on with Niall, who is on a lap. Or he may not actually be on a lap because he's letting OS Degrees race through, who is on the lap. So we will go on board with OS, see what time he can set as he finishes sector 3, and he's going into pits again. So all sorts of off-kilter people at the moment, off-kilter track times. We've got 6 minutes left in the session, so there's time to do another lap. We can see this move around quite violently, I reckon, as it comes up to the end of the session. There is a slow going Alfa Romeo through the hairpin. That is the Alfa Romeo of Skull. Matutas is on an outlap. Kev hasn't set about a lap time yet, but he is out on track with DRS open. The yellow flag of the Alfa Romeo getting out of the way, and he's going to the pits as well, so no point in riding on board with him. Fade is on an outlap, hasn't set a lap time yet. So he'll be able to wind up for a good lap here, taking it slowly on his outlap, not to scrub up his tyres. Struggs also heading back out on track with the Ferrari of OS right behind him. How is Louis Rivest doing? Louis Rivest is on an out lap. Can he do better than the opening lap time, which was a 1:11.7? We'll tune back to him in a little bit. Matusas just starting his lap, and he's going to come to the end of the first sector. Where does that put him? What's the sector time? It's a 20.227. That's plus 8, just under a tenth down from Struggs. So on a good lap. He's currently a second down on the time of Struggs, I believe. As he splits the second sector time. Still very close. Presuming that is plus 2 Struggs and not plus for himself, but it is a purple middle sector, so you presume that he's on a very good lap here, Matusas. Just one more corner to nail. He hugs all the way to the right-hand side to save as much time as possible. Always worth a couple of thousands at least doing that. Spots his braking marker. Smashes over those chicanes, just nudging those steam policemen. She's at all the exit and sticks to the right-hand side to shorten the run to the line, and that is a 1:11.8. So not improves this time, but not as good as I thought it could have been. Louis Rivest is about to come over to the finish line as well and split the timing beam. Has he gone any faster on this lap? It's a 1:16.1, so he's made a mistake somewhere. And is he going for another lap? Yeah, so he's had full charge. Oh, it's really far out the wide there. As AJ is trying to use every bit of toe to get an advantage. Oh, was that too much of a corner cut there, or was that perfectly judged? It's hard to tell. He's pushing. I don't think he improves his time though. 3 tenths down. 1:11.3 for AJ, currently in second. That'd be a good place to start for the Red Bull, and probably won't get another lap time out now. So Struggs slowly does it to the line. Fade hasn't gone out. He's saving. Oh, he's gone back into the pit, so he'll be coming out again, surely, Fade, with 3 minutes left in this session. As yellow flags are flying everywhere, so you can't really tell. OS Degrees is coming into the pits. Captain Rainbow Fox is also... No, he's lining up a lap. See what Captain Rainbow Fox can do. He's on a 1:12.3 at the moment. Can he improve? You'd expect to from there. Louis Rivest, he's coming to finish a lap. As he crosses the timing beam, it's not going to be an improvement because he's already down. And he's saved up his battery again. Those tyres will be a bit past their best, but he doesn't have to start on them tomorrow. So we'll see how he fares this lap. Struggs is still on a 1:10.9, but he's pushing on a lap now. Let's go on board with Struggs, in fact. He's just shy of his time at the moment, so maybe he feels like he's had a bit of a shoddy end. Well, this middle sector, according to this. So see how he does. AJ's retired in the pit, so that's the last we'll be seeing of him. And Struggs pushing all the way through the final corner. What can his best time be? Can he improve as we come to these final crucial moments of the short qualifying session? He does improve. He takes a few tenths off. 8 hundredths of a second, I believe that is. 8 hundredths of a second better. As we go on board with Fox is facing the wrong way, so he's not going to be setting a fast lap time unless his last lap time was incredibly slow. OS Degrees is out on an out lap. Louis Rivest, how has he done on those old set of tyres? He just shaved a couple of tenths off there. That's enough to steal it off Sculler Bull. Can Sculler Bull reply? He's just starting a lap now by the looks of things. Can Sculler Bull reply and take back fourth position? No, he can't. He's in the wall where Felipe Massa once lived. So we have Struggs, we have Fade on an out lap. He's yet to set a lap time. Chonk 2, also on an out lap. Matusas retired. He's happy with his 1:11.8. And Chonk just starting his out lap here. Fade is running up to the Pont de la Concorde, turn 3. Take as much curb as possible in 5th gear to maintain the revs. Good traction out there. All the way to the right. Use a bit of that and hook it into the inside of that curbing there. Use it to rotate the car and plant the throttle on the exit here. Open up the OS. As he crosses underneath the Pont de la Concorde bridge. passes the second sector timing beam. Where is this looking? No comparison to older laps. It's good to know that's still older laps. As we have Niall, is it crossing the line? Oh, is it? It must be Luke. He hasn't gone faster. We will go back to Fade, who is coming up to the final two corners, 12 and 13, the chicane, where it can all go wrong. He's left it late. It's a big chunk on the right, but I think he's just enough. Keeps it to the right, shortens the stretch of the line. It's a 1:11.2, so that snatches second off the Red Bull. And is it going to be a Williams front row again? We'll go on board with Chonk, and no, Chonk is in bits. His wheel is missing, so he will not be taking a better lap time than that. Starting in 19th, he didn't get a banker in either. Problematic for Chonk, and we have, I believe, a few cars still left to go. Kevin, McLeod, and Fence, all still out there. Kevin is going around, so he is going to set a lap time. There's the wall of champions for Chonk, and Kev doesn't go any quicker. Can Fence go any faster? Nope, he's crawling along like a snail. That's certainly not going to be faster as he takes the line. As the League of Code of Conduct says, you might as well take the line at the end of the session. It's a 1:22. That's not going to put him anywhere. So congratulations to Williams, the second front row lockout again in qualifying stages. Let's see if they can maintain it for the sprint races. And I'll just go a little bit quiet while I actually clip the results, just in case there's a ready up rule infraction. Remember, ready up will be in a time described by AJ in a Discord. Probably roughly 5 minutes. I'll give that a check in a second as we have a look on here and just get the results of this session. Prib, Chonk, and Alex didn't actually set a time. Strugs, Fade, and AJ are taking up the first three positions. And if I have a look at incidents just for the hell of it, and that is it. So yes, Williams knockout, the front of the grid. Red Bull and AlphaTauri in third and fourth, and the home man of Louis the Best, only Canadian on the grid, I believe, in fifth. So remember, there is a ready up rule in place, so no one should be readying up. Well, that's got the wrong name, but that's fine. So I've put the results for completely the wrong name. That's fine. Yeah, so there's obviously a bit of a mix of strategy this weekend, with there being a sprint race. Formation lap set to immersive, as we have the cars just visible on the right-hand side here. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Let's tune into the Discord and see what time the race will be getting going. So if we go into league discussion, AJ sent me a message about am I doing the ready up message? I think AJ has done it. It'll be 20:31 when we start. So I'm just going to take someone's readied up, so someone has fucked it. So someone has jumped the start, so we will have to reset the session. I do have those results saved, so I can send them over. I'm sending them over to you, AJ. Ignore the title. I messed this up. So I will quickly join the party of AJ and see how we're going to reset this. Hey, AJ. I couldn't tell either. I can't tell. Yeah. Louis then Strokes. Are we saying Louis then Strokes? Right. Okay. Okay. Well, technically, we should do everyone who readies up, right? We should do everyone who readied up. That's technically the rule. But if Lou comes forward and says that I messed it up, then well, he shouldn't ready up before the time. That's the way the rules are written. But if Louis is if Louis, yeah, we can do a sprint straight away. Yeah, we can do a sprint straight away. So Shambolic again. It's twice in a row. I think we need to make the. Lou, was that you? Back to the grid then. Back to the grid. Back it. Thanks for now. Yeah. Okay, I do actually have the results, but I can just read them out. Yeah. So you exit the lobby and join a new one. I'm just going to pop to the loo, join the intermission, but I'll be back in like half a minute. Hello, I'm back. Yeah. Is someone reordering to go, or do you want me to read out results? Ripple is Athens. Guys, I can't see Lou. I've just been talking on mute for ages. Lou's not in there. Yeah, Prib. Oh, is Prib not starting? He said something about not starting the race to me in the stream. Yeah, so Lou's in now, so he can pick Aston Martin. I can spectate, and we can reorder the grid. Okay, so first, yep, Struggs, Fade, AJ, then Fence. And then it was Lou, but he's being moved to the back of the grid. So next it's Skull, Niall, Matusas. So Skull, Niall, Matusas. So OS, Sol, Fox, Joker. Yeah, 12, not bad. IBN, McLeod, Kev, Geordie, Duck. It was Prib, Chonk, Alex, and then Lou. Chonk, Alex, Lou. Yeah. That's it. So we are good to ready up. And yeah, I think that's everyone. We didn't miss anyone. So that's good. Right. Good luck with the race. See you later, boys. So I hope you're still with us after that intermission. We had a ready up rule infraction. Basically, in our league, we give everyone 5 minutes between sessions to take a quick breather. That means no one should ready up. And this time it was the admin of Lou who readied up, so he'll be at the back of the grid. Disappointing at a good qualifying session there. 5th on the grid that he's just surrendered by dropping his phone onto his controller. It's a bit throw my homework out the window kind of thing. I don't know. I think we are putting it onto dry because both sessions were dry by the looks of things. And yeah, hopefully we can get going. So the ready up rule will be in place again. If league start is going to be at 2041. 2041. Yeah. Everyone should put setups on. Don't forget their setups. If you're watching along now at the moment, don't forget your setups for the race. And Yo Crab said that was from earlier. There's always one from Calvi. Niall's saying invite me. I believe he is in. Yep, he is in. Good luck all from Calvi. So the good thing is there's free choice of tyres. So we're just waiting for Sol to load in, but it will start in 13 seconds. Obviously, race start is at 2041, so don't forget to put your setups on. That is the most crucial thing. If you forget your setups, then that's 2 races where you'll be running around with suboptimal pace. So it'll be sunny conditions for both races. sprint race. We'll probably see most of our runners start on the medium tyre. Let's jump into race director. It's a bit risky because it fails sometimes. So some people, most people are looking at the mediums, and I'll talk through some strategy once the race starts. Obviously, there's 2 races this weekend, 8 points for winning the sprint, and pole position for the race, 25 points in the full race. Our first sprint session in the Syndicate Race League. As we come to the ready up time, it's just 1 minute until the ready up time at 20:41. .2041 has been hit, so we can start the sprint formation lap. And I'll have a run through of the grid. Expect to see a lot of safety cars here. It's a street circuit, although it doesn't always feel like one, but it is a street circuit. The walls are always inches away, and mistakes are punished. As we see the Williams cars pull away, and I will quickly just enable some of the settings I like to have on. The Fade has gone for a pair of softs, an aggressive pair of softs for Fade. And let's have a look at the... We'll go on to tyres just to start off with. And if you look, so Fade on the softs, Niall on the hards, and Louis Revest on the hards. So interesting choice from the Aston Martin boys. Of course, going on a pair of hards allows you to run medium in the race. So wise tactic from the Aston Martin boys. Also a similar tactic if you can do one stopper of softs and you have a better start line, but softs don't run that well for 23 laps, so that's probably a 2 stopper for them. Anyone on the softs, so that's Fade, Matusas in 7th, Joker in the fellow Alpine, he's in 11th, going on soft 2. Duck is also on softs, and Alex is also on softs. So as we come around, it's been a quick lap from Strug's cars, including his teammate Fade, aren't keeping 10 car lengths to one another. I would say that AJ is closer to Fade than Fade is to Strugs. That's the right way of saying it. And if we change the detail to position change, that's a good graphic to have on the opening lap. Look, Fade has overrun his marks, probably got cold tyres because of that. Starting on the softs. We have Louis at the back of the field. Good qualifying session for 5th, but unfortunately, due to the ready-up rule, he's been pushed down to the back. So, we have our sprint race about to begin. As we look at the lights, 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. It's a long hold, and they are away. A slow release from the Williams. AJ gets a rocket start and goes up the middle. Can he lead into the opening lap? He does. Into the first corner, he is leading. How have the rest of the pack done? The Williams are trying to fight back. Fade has got a better launch than Struggs. AJ rocketing into the lead there. And I think we are all safely through. Oh no, I say that, and there is a massive chunk from fence into the wall of exit of turn 4. Huge shunt. He's lucky to still be in the race there. He's down 15 positions because of it. Captain Vaporfox, he's had a good start. Up 4 positions, starting on the mediums. He's had a great start there. Skull also gaining a place, and Niall too. Fade, is he putting AJ under pressure? He's right behind him. It's not been a great exit around the outside of left angle. That's going to be difficult, but AJ gives him the space to do that. He runs deep. Can he have a better traction? Oh, he's being mugged off by both the Williams here. And he's out all the way on the right-hand side, sticking to that inside line. Can AJ remain in it? No, he's dropping back. There's a safety car. There's a safety car. Is it a virtual safety car? Looks like a virtual safety car to me. It is a VSC. So, unfortunate for AJ there. He wasn't able to maintain his place. Those Williams mugging him in the run to turn 10 and the exit too. Great start from AJ. Fencer's left the session. I'm not quite sure why he's done that. Obviously, had a problematic start, but there is a whole other session left, so I'm unsure why Fencer's left the session. You know, this was just a sprint race. Huge crash into the exit of this corner here, turn 4, in the middle of the Pont de la Concorde. So a good start from AJ, but has gone unrewarded due to the unfortunate timing at the VSC. I think he could have just kept it along the inside of Struggs there. Would have been interesting. But we have Captain Vabo Fox up 5 positions, started 10th. Chonk, he's had a rocket start. Started well in the doldrums of the... we've gone racing again. We have gone racing. There's no warning for me that we've gone racing. So Chonk has had a great start, up 9 places. Looking down the order, Kev's done well as well, up 5 places. The 2 Soul Collector trying to go around the outside of Matusas, and I think he did it. I think a poor braking zone for Matusas there has given a place to Soul Collector. He's moved up 3 places now. Louis Vest, he is up 8 places. A great start from the back of the grid. He's got a bit between his teeth. Alex Trent G, he's moving forward. Matusas only 4 tenths behind Soul Collector. He won't be going for a move into there. And AJ 7 tenths down on Struggs. Both on the medium tyres. Fade, you'd expect to run away with it for a little bit, but he will have to do another pit stop unless he goes long. So maybe a safety car will come and help him out, to be honest. Interesting for him. Struggs is down a place from his starting position. AJ, great start, but just wasn't able to capitalise on it. The Ferrari of Fox, let's ride on board. The orange lid of the Captain Rainbow Fox as he heads into the corner, turn 8 and 9. You want to just use a little bit of curb of both of those corners. Doesn't get great traction out of turn 9. And all the way down to turn 10, finishes second sector. We have Soul Collector very close behind Matusas. Matusas has got back by at some stage here. So Soul Collector right up Matusas' chuff. And there's a yellow flag, but it's gone away now. And AJ has been dropped a little by the Williams cars there. So maybe a little moment for him. Fade set of 1:13, fastest lap of the race. Oh, and if we see Chonk's getting his elbows out into turn 1. Backs out of it. The number 43 car of Chonk. As Kev has a penalty and so does Joker. A lot penalty galore around here. Really, really easy to dink one over the curb and get some penalty points around here. Some warnings for corner cutting, that is. As Ben makes a move on OS. OS has gone into pit, so he must have had some damage somewhere. Not a great start. He's down 10 positions. Vents running around in the back here. Will OS get out in front of him? If we look at Chonk, he's all over the back of Soul. We're watching this battle. Will Chonk make a move into the hairpin? He goes side by side. Let's ride on board. He looks to the inside. Gets one up there. Soul leaves him space quite wisely. Hangs him out to dry around the outside. But Chonk will have DRS. I don't think Soul will have DRS to the car in front. Does he get to open it? No, he doesn't. So Chonk gets DRS and will surely get the place. As we watch Matusas make a move on Fox too. Niall in 4th position. A good strategy on the hards. Paying off for the Aston Martin car here. Obviously those will get better and better as the race goes on. But he is going to become a bit of a cork in the bottle. Cause a bit of a truly train here. As he enters through the first sector of this lap. Lap 5 of 23. Matusas 8 tenths down on him, 5 tenths down on him is the car, the Scarlet Ferrari of Captain Rainbow Fox. We have Louis Rivest. How's he doing in 11th place? He's a bit off the back of McLeod, but we'll watch him a little bit. Fence gets a 3-second time penalty. That's AI, I believe, or unless he has rejoined the session. I'm unsure of that. He did absolutely fire into the wall at pace. And we have Matusas closing out on the Aramco-sponsored green Aston Martin Racing. The Formula 1 car that shouldn't be quick in this game, at least. As Matusas has DRS, and is it an easy pass into the final chicane? It is, but he doesn't get the position. And can Niall get a better exit out here? Now, the Alpine will have double DRS, but can he maintain the inside? He doesn't use up any DRS, he just chooses to tuck behind, not lose too much time battling. Fox could have easily picked up any scraps there, so a wise move. Now, Matusas is on those soft tyres, so you expect those to start to go off soon. So you'd expect Niall and Captain Rainbow Fox to start coming back at him. Can Niall keep in the slipstream of Matusas? It's a quiet race up front. Fade from Struggs from AJ. You expect Struggs to take fades pretty soon, to be honest. As those tyres start to go off, just as a race for the lead between the two Williams cars, you'd expect them to work together, and maybe for Fade to realise that to keep in front would be futile anyway. Let's see, as he opens DRS, 87% charge of ERS. Chooses not to use it. I think he's quite happy where he is for now. He's quite happy where he is. He's going to protect Fade from any kind of loss of pace as well, as Niall is in the DRS of Matusas, so that makes attacking harder for Fox. But Chonk, he's right up behind, right up, being caught up by Soul Collector as he goes now into that corner. Cleanly does it. Good racing between those two. Can Kevin make something of it too? Chonk is defenseless. No DRS, of course. Through the double DRS zone. Kev looks to the inside, but thinks better of it. And we have Niall still 5 tenths behind Matusas, 4 tenths behind Niall is the Scarlet Ferrari of Captain Rainbow Fox as he dinks over that corner. And let's look at the penalties at this time of the race. Penalties is... Oh, Fox gets a bit tardy on the exit of 7. So that will cost him some time. He'll have some DRS. He'll be able to catch back up a bit. But that does cost him some time. So Niall has a 3-second penalty. Kevin has a 6-second penalty. Fox, we're just right on board. You see that? He's got another 3-second... He's got his first 3-second penalty too. So it's on as even between the battle between 5th and 6th on penalties. Joker, he's got 3 seconds of penalties. IBN and Fence, the two AlphaTauris down at the bottom, not had a great start to the sprint race. And the Williams are just slowly pulling away here. Not really a race from those two, to be honest. Fade has been overtook by Struggs. So obviously Struggs' better pace can just DRS train Fade along and protect him from the advances of AJ, you'd imagine. If we have Chonk, he's very close to the back of Kev. I think Kev has overtaken him at one point. Kev had to run quite wide there. Doesn't leave him much space on a return on the inside. McLeod is now catching up this battle for 8th. Just cutting on to that. It didn't look like Kev was left that much space for Chonk, but then he returned the favour at the apex, making it very tight for him. So just keeps that position. The Haas of Kev, Mr. Ball Baggery. Chonk, he'll be wanting to get past soon. He'll start getting his elbows out, I'm sure. And he hasn't got DRS through here. He hasn't opened his DRS. I'm unsure why he hasn't opened his DRS through there. That's a strange one, unless I'm not seeing the correct pictures. As we have Fox just 9 tenths behind the hard-running Niall. Good strategy from Niall. He'll have mediums in the race, which is the better race tyre. Would be able to do a soft medium strategy. And Matusas, he's got a penalty, so we can take it for granted that everyone's going to get penalties here. We'll have to work that out at the end. As we have McLeod on the back of Chonk, will he go for an overtake? Oh, he's thinking about it. He is thinking about it. Oh, he sends one. He absolutely sends one down the inside. A lovely move. Or was it coordination between the two Mercedes. You'd have to hope that was a beautiful move from McLeod. It was a late braking procedure. And Shonk's 4 attempts down on his teammate now. So maybe a bit of damage from that altercation that's now costing him. So let's switch off penalties and onto tyres as that battle on Fade. Fade is now struggling to keep up with Struggs, but AJ's still 7.8 seconds down. We've got a long way to go though. Those gaps could start to close. We have a yellow through Sector 2. I believe that is Duck Doodles. He's gone for a spin and now he's hitting the wall for good measure. He's got a bit of a gap here to open it up as he gets into first place, and he spun all the way around and doing a pirouette in the middle of the track. And that is, hot tyres. So just needs to get easy on the throttle. And that is a full safety car, I believe, just because of Duck Doodle's shenanigans there. Doing donuts in the middle of the track. I don't think he was meaning to, but it has cost him time. So interestingly, this will allow Fade to pit. He's probably got a gap to AJ. Matusas just a second behind AJ. Now, will some cars choose to drop onto softs here? I think I can see Fade doing it. I think I could see Struggs doing it. Maybe it depends. If Struggs does it, then that does really hamper his teammate because he will probably fall behind other cars. So interesting to see this play out. So Fade is backing off from Struggs. So I think they're going to go for a double stack of softs. Now that doesn't look like a big enough gap for me for a double stack. Let's have a look. They both go into the pits. Both going to take a pair of softs here. Will AJ... Oh, Louis Rivest's got a 3-second time penalty. Will AJ go on to a pair, or will he stick it out on the mediums? He boxes opposite. With Tutas, he's on a pair of softs. He's forced his hand, really. There, does he gain any positions here? I think AJ will take the lead of the race here. He'll have to battle off those fighting cars. He'll take the lead of the race, and will Fox get out ahead of the Williams? He does get out ahead of the Williams. So it's AJ from now, Captain Rainbow Fox. AJ running the medium tyres, 10 laps old. Niall also got 10 laps old, but they're hards, and Captain Rainbow Fox on the medium compound as well. Okay, so Fade has lost a place to Soul Collector as well. So interesting move from the Williams boys there, especially from Struggs. You know, they'd already balanced their books really there, so I'm not sure why they've both gone on a pair of softs. Let's see if it works for them. Obviously, they'll have greater advantage of race pace, and you've seen they've already had race pace, but now they've got to battle through the pack, and they could get damaged and fall backwards. So an interesting strategy, but at least they make the race a bit more interesting for me because they were running away with it in the front. I think if Fade had just gone into the pits himself, I think he would have come out fourth, but he falls behind Soul Collector because of the double pit stop. So an interesting one from those two. I'm not sure why they didn't just draw a line in the sand and say, look, if you catch up to me, Fade, I would have boxed for soft, so you stay behind me. And Struggs keeps the lead of the race. But we'll see. We'll see if they can come back. We have 12 laps left. And now we have the clown of Duck Doodles. He's going into the pits. And he's getting a new front wing. Must have had a bit of damage there. I believe possibly a lap down now. Unsure. He must be because he's at the back of the grid and there's cars coming around. So we have 19 runners still left in it. AJ out front. He's on a pair of mediums started from the start. Geordie, he's gone on to a pair of mediums. Ooh, if he's gone on to a pair of mediums, I hope he started on a pair of softs or something, because otherwise he won't have a pair of mediums to race now. Louis Rivest, he stayed out on his hards, and Niall has stayed out on his hards. So it'll be interesting from here. I expect some, robust but within the lines defending from Fox, Niall, and AJ to maintain those positions. Of course, it's not only just points today, but it's points for it's the starting positions for the race. Now, Niall and Fox, they both have penalties. If we look at the penalty detail, they have penalties of 3 seconds each. AJ has no penalties at the moment. He's kept his nose clean. So he'll be hoping for those two cars behind to really over battle here and allow AJ to make a bit of a gap there before the softs go past their best. But it's going to be very difficult for Niall and Fox to keep the two Williams boys behind. Of course, Soul Collector is also in the mix with Fade. Now, Soul Collector hasn't got any penalties, so he'll be battling to keep Fade behind at all costs for his teammate, fighting like a lion. Esteban Ocon style at Qatar, except from he let Perez straight by, so he didn't really fight like a lion, more like a lion cub. All of our runners still left in this Canadian Grand Prix, as Joker has pitted. So I think it will come in this lap. It's been a good race for AJ. Good race for Williams boys. Strange tactic, but we'll see how that plays out. Fox has made up loads of places. Let's have a quick look at the places made since qualifying. Position changed. Fox up 7 places. He started in 10th. Now up 4 places. Started in 6th. And AJ up 2. Also, Louis Rivest. He's 3 places away from points. Matusas has the last scoring positions. It's 1st to 8th. 8th to 1 point. Given out. Sequentially down. So McLeod will be battling to take a point from Mercedes, who haven't been so hot in the constructors so far, but it's just Red Bull who haven't scored a point. Red Bull and McLaren, because this is first McLaren outing, because neither of their drivers made it last weekend. So we have the safety car marching away, so we can presume that racing is about to go green again, and we will follow the car of Fox, because he's got those 2 fast Williams behind and Sol, and he's got the Aston Martin of Niall, the reserve driver this weekend in Varugriff 88, and the Red Bull of AJ. As AJ bolts before the final corner, he's still warming up his tyres, and he goes for it. As someone has done something, followed. Thank you for whoever's just followed. I'll read out your name in a second, but AJ. Can Struggs make up any ground from the opening places? It is Wool123. Hey, Wool, thanks for following. And Struggs. All over the back of Captain Rainbow Fox, you'd imagine he would be. Fade all over the back of Sol. Can Struggs make a move into turn 8? I think it's turn 8. Yeah. And let's ride on board. He's being patient. But every lap he uses. Oh, Fox runs very wide. That's enough to let Sol through. And he's having to back off. That's disappointing for Fox. He's running really well up to then, but he just outbroke himself into that corner. Struggs being pokey. Now he's right up behind the Aston Martin of Niall. And will he get by here? He's using up a lot of ERS. Niall isn't really fighting it, I'd say. So they've fought back. Fade is still clogged up behind Soul Collector. So Soul Collector doing a great job for his teammate. Actually, Matusas up into 6th position from the restart. And he is on the back of Fade. You think, he could lose a position to Fade. Struggs now 1.6 seconds down. AJ just has to manage his ERS a little bit. Tries to manage his ERS and just let Struggs behind, hang it out for a few laps, get past the best of those red marked tyres. Obviously, those mediums are beginning to fade a little bit towards the end of the race. But, the goal here for AJ really is to keep Fade behind. Sol has actually relinquished the place to Fade. So Fade starts to march down on 3rd position of Niall. We have Struggs only 6 tenths behind AJ. He's closing down rapidly. It looks quite futile defending this. So a good move from the Williams boys, providing they can both get through without damage. As we go on board, you can just see it's like Struggs have a blown diffuser or something compared to the Red Bull of AJ. So AJ tries to defend the inner line here. and just take the racing line. Actually, he just keeps it nicely planted. No DRS this lap, so it'd be interesting to see if Struggs goes for it on this lap. I don't think he will. I think he'll keep behind. Fade is very close to Niall, very close, and I think he's going to take the position here. Niall knows he's not fighting Fade ultimately, so lets him by. Just gets a bit later on the brakes there, and that causes him to miss the corner a little bit there. Luckily, didn't avoids the contact with the back of the Williams of Fade. Struggs, 2 tenths behind. This will be the first DRS zone, I believe. Oh, you can just see how much you can hook it up. It's catching him off guard, and that puts him 4 tenths down. It'll be difficult for the DRS to do the job into this zone, but also there's the better overtaking opportunity on the back straight coming up. So, can he do anything into Lepangle, the hairpin? The 180-degree corner, he has a better line through there, and he just tries to send it around the outside. We have a yellow flag, sector 2. It is Chonky's DNF, and that is a safety car, another safety car. Now, AJ has held them off. He's seen the pace of those softs. Will he go onto a pair of softs or stick it out on the mediums? Now, the softs are going to be harder to turn on, and I think AJ will stay out. Yes, he stays out, so it's going to be 2-3 laps. Be interesting to see if anyone else pits. Niall is pitting. He's probably going onto a pair of softs, a last-minute dash onto a pair of softs. I think this is it's a strange call. Let's see where he feeds out. McLeod into the pits. He's also going onto a pair of softs, presumably. That allows Captain Rainbow Fox OS Skull all the way through of Niall. So, didn't see what happened to Chonk there, but he has ended his race early. I think Niall will bleed out into 10th position here, so 2 places behind the points, but on the freshest pair of softs, timeline, which will be nice. AJ chooses to stay out on those mediums. He's going to have 2 thirsty Williams boys behind on a pair of softs, which will be better, but starting to go past their best. And if the safety car doesn't come back in until lap 20, there will be no DRS, so they will have to make the move without DRS. And I think AJ will believe in himself that he has the skill to keep these 2 really quick Williams behind. He will believe that without DRS, he can keep them behind. It'll be interesting to see that. Fox has recovered a little bit to 6th position on those mediums that he started on. Let's have a quick look at the tyres on the grid. So, Struggs, Fade, Matusas, all on old softs, 6-lap used softs. AJ and Sol and Captain Fox, Skull and OS are on the tyres they started on. That's wrong. OS is actually on a pair of hards and therefore won't. He did pit early. He did have a collision early, so he's done well to fall back to the final points playing position. Niall, he started on hards and decided that he doesn't want to be on those anymore, which is interesting. Lou has also done the same, switched for a pair of softs. So they've still got the mediums for the race, which is good for them, and they will see. They're probably preparing themselves for good race results, being on a soft, medium strategy that everyone who's used the mediums today can't do. When I say today, I mean in this race. The sprint race. We have 5 laps remaining of the sprint. We have Alex and Duck at the back of the grid. No, they are at the back of the pack, but not the pack of the grid, because Alex is in 17th. Duck, it has been lapped. So Lou is behind that. So it'll be interesting to see how many places Lou can make up. I think the safety car will come into lap. So AJ will have DRS to... he won't have DRS. The Williams will have DRS behind to battle him. And Fade is now part of that squabble because Sol didn't manage to do a restart. So maybe a bit of communication between AJ and Sol can say... AJ can say when he's going to floor it, and that could give him the position into turn 1. So Fade should be protective into that first corner, knowing that he's going to have Sol try and get in front of him and slow him down and give AJ that opportunity to take second place, take first place even if Struggs runs into any kind of problems, as Sol shoves it into neutral and you hear a big box of those neutrals. Safety car is in, but Kev is out. Oh, Kev is out. He's made it so far. but he's out under safety car. I think Ericsson must have hit him. So we'll go off board. Let's go on board with AJ and see where he goes. Does he hit it here? Yeah, he's using EOS. He's pushing from the line. Struggs, only 3 tenths behind him. Not a bad restart from Struggs. Has Sol made any ground up? Little bit, but not enough to do anything into the first corner. Now Struggs and Fade circling like sharks as they go into Pont de la Concorde. Can they get this position done before those DRS zones, or will they wait? Now, I think this is the last lap a safety car could occur. The top 4, none of them have time penalties. Matusas does have time penalties, so he'll be under attack from Soul Collector. Matusas will be under attack from Soul Collector, but will he be able to build a 3-second gap at least? I'm not sure how many he's actually got. Let's have a quick look at the penalty details. Matusas has 3 seconds of penalty, so he'll have to build a 3-second gap. So we look at Struggs. He's itching to get by. He's been behind this Red Bull for much longer than I think he anticipated. Due through that safety car phase there, the extra safety car hindering his progress, but he gets a bit of a run here, stays in the slipstream, but better straight line speed there as AJ has using a bit of EOS. They're both using a bit of EOS to keep this dream alive. I think safety car is no longer a threat now, and Sol has fallen dramatically behind Fade, so he won't get DOS. As we have the car of Duck Doodles, he spun at the back, lap down, so that's more or less his race over. Just has to bring that one home. Fence has got back by Joker. Both on 6 seconds of penalties. OS Degrees, he's behind Captain Rainbow Fox, who has 3 seconds worth of penalties. And we have Struggs very close to the back end of AJ as we go through turn 8 and the exit of 9. Flat onto the throttle early as possible. He's looking for a move into Lapangle. Do it. Niall's got another 3-second time penalty. Up the inside he goes. This makes it difficult for AJ to get a clean run out, and that leaves him vulnerable to the teammate of Williams, to the teammate of Fade, the Williams teammate of Struggs. And he's using a lot of EOS to get by here. Can AJ maintain second place? This is his battle to the end here now. Can he stay in the EOS of Struggs? That will be crucial for his race. If he can stay in the EOS of Struggs, loses a lot of time through the final corners of 12 and 13. And if he can stay in that DRS, then he can defend from Fade. Otherwise, he's knackered and he's already over a second. So unless he has a dramatically better corner here, it's a bit better. Can he stay in that EOS? I think he knows this is slipping away now, but Fade still has to get by AJ. Still has to get by. Matusas is all over the back of the Red Bull here. The Red Bull of Soul Collector that is in 4th position. This is a battle for 4th. Matusas needs to get by this lap to create that 3-second gap. Otherwise, it's going to be 5th place for him, and it won't be 5th place. It will be 6th place. Maybe even 7th, depending on penalties at the end. And OS Degrees has lost out to Fox at some point through this rotation. Niall coming back through the pack on those softs, but he has got 9 seconds of penalties. So AJ's managed to get back into the DRS of Strug. So his teammate doing no favours for Fade here as he closes in, but DRS basically makes it line of strewn, and they're both out of DRS. So Fade is struggling here. Can AJ keep this on the straight and narrow? There's 2 laps left of this race. Much better drive out of the corner 2. Does he keep it in? No, he can't keep it in now, and he has to concede that position. Much better drive through there, and that allows AJ just to drop out of the DRS zone. So Fade being pokey there, and a good couple of corners from Fade. Struggs has dropped the DRS zone for AJ, and now he is defenceless. Can AJ do enough to keep that DRS? Can he claw those 3 tenths back? It's a lot to ask around these corners, but the traction of 9 can be quite awful sometimes, but it looks more and more like a foregone conclusion. Matusas now has 6 seconds worth of penalties, and Scholar Bull has got past Matusas. Matusas is in fact spun at the exit of 9. I was just talking about that tricky exit as we have Fade and AJ battling. This should be it, really. AJ will take the inside line. Try to hang it out around there. Will Struggs do it? Oh, AJ keeps his line. That's fair enough. That's fair enough defending from. But I think he feels he needs to give that back. But I think that was fair enough. There's only one line through there, and I think that was fades to lose, really. But, he makes contact. AJ feels like he doesn't want to race like that and gives that back. But looking at that, there's one line to take. AJ had the inside. Fade should have relinquished. But he gets position. Probably a better drive out of turn 13 for Fade, helping with gaining that position. Soul Collector now only 2 seconds down on his teammate, but with a whole gaggle of cars behind. These cars on better tyres. Skull with a penalty as well now. And I think Soul probably has done enough to keep fourth position. So it'll be the Williams first on the front row, Red Bull on the second row, providing there's no kerfuffle into the final corners. There's an AlphaTauri fence getting punchy. He's back. He's had a massive incident at the start of this race, but he's getting punchy, makes a little bit of a contact with the sister racing car of Red Bull Racing. Skull trying to use the RS here. Soul Collector just needs to keep himself clean here and make sure there's no events. Niall trying to get involved as well, pick up any scraps he can between these cars that are battling. Oh, there's a bit of contact between Fence and the AlphaTauri now, but Soul Collector should go up into fourth position, and he does. So it's Struggs from Fade. AJ only 4 tenths down on Fade. He fought to the end there. Soul Collector 3 tenths down on his teammate. Skull the Bull losing out through penalties. Did finally get past Soul there. As we see the final cars line, Duck is, just about halfway through the lap. McLeod's going overland. So interesting race there. Interesting race. Just Williams' strategy coming strong there. And if we do another league start, so Duck Doodles comes over the line, and we'll have a league start of 21-23. So Louis Vest in the Aston Martin gets driver of the day. Didn't quite see where he made it up to, but he did make quite a few places. Made it up to 8th place. They've got a point, so that's 2 points. Oh, Niall just falls out of the point positions and gives it to his teammate. So not the end of the world there to give that to your teammate. As we scroll down and look at those results, and just have the same look in here, and just scroll through the incidents, which there will be plenty. So let me just click that. Remember, Ready at Will is in place. Won't be starting until 21-23. And I'll just quickly take these down. So we'll just run through those sprint race results. We have Struggs and Fade, the Williams, starting there. On the front row, AJ and Sol. Good race from those two. They'll be starting 3rd and 4th on the second row. Good. 5th, Alfa Romeo, and then 6th and 7th for the Ferraris. Good race for those two. They'll be lining up next to each other. Louis in 8th place, getting the final point there, and to round out the top 10, Fence is in 9th, and Niall will be starting directly behind his teammate Louis Vest. So Some good racing there. Difficult for AJ to make that Red Bull as wide as possible, wasn't it, Calvi? He just couldn't get there in the end, and couldn't keep him behind, but almost got him back at the end. Have a quick look at the league clip review. They've always started to come in. Seems like everyone is observing the Red Bull. There's 3 minutes until lights out. So I'm just going to take a real quick breather before the start of the race. So T-minus a minute from the race countdown at 23. Trying to work out if things are tagged correctly. Let me know if you can see what I'm actually streaming, because I've tried to set it to F122, but not sure if it's worked or not. So let's look in chat. Now saying I fucked up because I finished higher, but yeah, just unfortunate. We had a good race there. Matusas, he's also believe he fucked up a bit, but yeah, I think he had a good race there. But obviously this is where you score the major points. Sol wishing a GG to the boys, and yeah, he's right. The real thing starts now. 20 seconds until race start. Good luck to all our competitors. Race is going to be run in dry conditions. There's zero chance of rain. One light to signal the formation lap as a go, and it is. Struggs leading Fade, leaving the two Red Bulls now. Think back to about 30 minutes ago. AJ got a rocket start and really held his nerve as the long lights out procedure occurred, and rocketed into the lead, just losing out through the hairpin. And we'll have a quick look at everyone's lap, the tyres they've gone on to, enable telemetry. So tyres, Struggs starting on softs, Soul Collector also starting on softs, but the other two are starting on mediums. if you look at Skull, he's on a pair of mediums in 5th position. OS Degrees and the Ferrari of Captain Rainbow Fox wearing those medium compounds. Louis Vest starting on a pair of softs. He can go medium into the race because of the strategy he won in the sprint. Fence is on a pair of softs and now opting for a different strategy from his teammate of Louis Vest. He's going on the medium, so a split strategy from those two. Joker in the Alpine in 11th position. He's on the softs. The McLaren of Alex Trent G making his debut for McLaren. He now has that full race seat. He is running a pair of mediums. Geordie in the Alfa Romeo softs. IBN also on a pair of softs. And Matusas on hards in 15th position. McLeod, the first of the two Mercedes, they're lowly this race and they begin quite far down. They're on mediums. Duck also on mediums in a McLaren. Kev, a pair of mediums. And Chonk, a pair of mediums. So, we've gone through this. Let's switch to position change and go back to this view. We're going to view on board with Sol. AJ's disqualified, so have cold tyres, and he has missed his marks. Same for both Fry Boys and Fence as the final few cars come to the grid. So, Syndicate Racing League round 2 at Hungary. The feature race begins now. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5. Again, a long pause, and it's the start of the race. AJ, another electric start. Can he go up the inside here? No, he does maybe make the position on Fade. Fade hangs him around the outside here, and Soul Collector will try and pick up any of the bits, but good work from the Williams for keeping back Fade there. OS Degrees make a rapid start. Gone up 1 position. There's a bit of fighting. Chonk's got up 6 positions. Fighting all the way, Chonk at the back. Seems like they're all safely through. No crashes so far. I said that last time. Fence went spearing into the wall. And there is a yellow flag. There is a yellow flag. Sector 2, yellow flag. And it looks like Niall is going backwards. Niall is going backwards. He started on those mediums and he's lost his front wing. And IBN is in the walls. He's in bits. Oh, I cursed it again. They were all through that first sector nicely. But he is in bits and he started on the medium. So now he's got to go on a pair of softs. Of course, he can go on that medium late on the race and he hasn't done much under it. But it's a VSC. And don't think he'll make it back to the pits in time for this not to be a hindrance. Strug's got a massive gain on Fade. So Fade must have had a wobble somewhere halfway through the lap. Not a great start of Fade, it must be said. Probably struggling with cold tyres or something. On a pair of softs as well. Fade's actually into the pits. He's into the pits. He's on a pair of mediums, so he hasn't got those switched on. And he's looking to make an early change through this VSC period. We're still under full flag yellows. I'll keep you informed if that drops. They are changing a front wing, so Fade's had a bit of contact somewhere around that lap. And it is still sector 1, 2, and 3 yellows. And the Red Bulls of AJ and Soul Collector up to 2nd and 3rd. And still running VAC. So, good start from Chunk then. He's up 10 positions. He knows how to go aggressive, doesn't he? And up 10 positions, slow down from AJ, just playing with the Delta, I bet. Race resuming about to happen. Oh, yes, it has resumed. And OS has got a drive-through penalty. He'll be frustrated at that. He's already down in 16th position. Obviously, he had a bit of contact and had to pit through that safety car period. It's Red Bull very close to each other. Sol only 3 tenths down. Skull only 7 tenths behind that, so they shouldn't battle too hard. Fade down in a lowly 15th position. What tyres did he switch onto? He switched onto a pair of hards. He will go long in this race. IBN must be devastated being out so early. If you're in chat, let us know what happened, pal. Just missed the end of that, but it looked like you had some kind of collision with Niall from the looks of things. So, if we look through the pack, Fence is going backwards. He's gone into the pit, Fence. He has gone into pits. So he's going backwards because he's going into the pits and he's on a pair of hards. So he looked quite tidy on the AlphaTauri. Soul Collector has got ahead of AJ. Soul Collector on better pace on those softs, of course. So AJ has unlocked his teammate and allowed him to run longer. Strugs probably on the medium-hard strategy. No, he's actually on soft, isn't he, Struggs? So maybe a soft, medium-hard strategy for Struggs. Louis Revest, he started in 8th and he is up to 5th on those softs. So a good start. He's back up to that original qualifying position. No penalties yet in the race. But expect them to come flooding in just like they did in the sprint race. They're only up to 9 seconds. Fox on the back of Lou, but he's gone into the pits. He's had to take an early pit. Must be a wing change. He's changing to a pair of hards by the looks of things. As all those cars go past Golden Bull, he's quite close up behind AJ. AJ only 6 tenths behind his teammate. So Sol not being able to unlock amazing pace, or maybe AJ's just grabbing onto the coattails a bit here, but the Red Bull team working together nicely. As we'll watch Fade battle back up through the session. I think he gets ahead of Captain Rainbow Fox. Fox may also just fall behind Fence here. No, I think Fence is behind, but he'll be all over him. There's a yellow flag. I think it's Geordie. Geordie's out the race, and there is a full safety car. Geordie's out the race at turn 6, and he hasn't made it past lap 4 of this Grand Prix. We have 2 DNFers, Geordie and the AlphaTauri of IBN. Let us know what happened if you're both listening, but they'll be disappointed about those two. That they're out so early. Obviously a bit of contact. Fade. This is music to his ear. Bunch to pack up. Struggs goes into and boxes off of those softs. Will Sol do the same? No, Sol continues on. Sol decides, no, softs have a good life. I'm not going to ditch him after 4 laps. Oh, and there's just some strange issue where Struggs is back on the racing line. I think Sol does well to avoid him. Struggs, why was he just on the line? Maybe that was just on my side. I saw that, but he was definitely in the middle of the start-finish straight. That was strange. Niall still quite far behind, still hasn't overtook Geordie apparently, so he may be quite far down if that's the case. Confusing what happened there. I am not talking to Ben Niall, but it sounds like Niall is very sorry for contacts caused. So let me know what happened, Ben. And Niall is very sorry. In a Nick Clegg, I'm sorry kind of style too. From the looks of it. We'll have a quick look through league discussion, see what's being said. Geordie saying, I binned it into the wall. Spun it into the wall, so that's why he's out. We've had a few cars pit under safety car. I think Kev is saying he's in first. Why is it saying Kev is in first? You've got to love F1, haven't you? It's now saying Kev is in first place, but that is incorrect. Something has gone very bad. The game is lagging so bad, that's what Chonk says. And now Kev is back into 17th position, so that has corrected itself. So thank goodness for that. Soul Collector in first from AJ in second. Struggs all the way down in 7th after his pit stop. What tyre did he change onto? It looks like he's changed onto the hard. So it'll be interesting to see what his pace like is on those hards. Niall had that contact with IBN. Chonk saying the game is lagging out. It looks like it's sorted itself a little bit there. Kev's got a drive-through penalty. For Delta Wii reasons. I'm going to hope that isn't the game messing up. It's a very buggy build at the moment that we are playing on. So let's have a look at stops. We've had Sol, AJ, Skull, Louis Revest, Chonk, Alex Trent G, yet to stop. Also McLeod, Matusas in that boat. Struggs, 1 stop in, he's in 7th. Joker, he's also had 1 stop. Fade, Fox, Fence, OS Degrees, Niall, and Duck all on 1 stop. Kev is on 2 stops already, and he's quite far down, but I think he'll be able to catch up to the lead lap, won't fall a lap behind. So let's have a look at the tyres that people are rocking at the moment. So 5 lap warns for all the not yet to pit cars, obviously. We're 6 laps into the race. And it's softs for the leader of Sol, mediums for second placed AJ. I'm surprised Sol didn't pit there. Obviously, those softs go off quickly, don't they? So, he obviously can make it medium hard to the end. So we'll see how it plays out for him. Scullerball is in third place, running eternally in third place. That's where you had most of the race last time. He's got good pace, Scullerball. Good addition to the league. Started the league for the first time this season. And picking up good points for the Alfa Romeo team in that initial race, finishing third, getting 15 points. So, still out for another lap. I'm going to have the world's smallest chocolate bar. So, before we get racing again, and as Bagri got another penalty, Matusas has a 5-second penalty, presumably speeding under the pit lane, but could be contact. Bagri has at least a 3-second penalty. He also has a drive-through that he'll have to take after the safety car comes in. Will he risk it this lap or next lap? Probably worth going this lap. As he's at the back of the grid, he'll probably will have fully done its thing. Not a long pit lane either. So, probably get going again this lap as the pack has bunched up. We're following Soul Collector. Yeah, he's got a bit of a gap. Yes, safety car is in this lap. Message from base control. Starts to slow it down on a pair of those softs. The two Red Bulls out in front. No points on the board from the last race, but they'll be hoping to make amends for that. Sol ran very late last time out and got took out by an AI car of Joker. Unfortunate for him, we've started punishing AI. He's gone early. Sol has gone really early there. Really early. A second behind his teammate. You have to think he probably didn't tell his teammate that, but 0.6 better through that corner. Does everyone make it safely through those final two corners? It looks like they do. As we begin lap 8, under racing positions. AJ's all over the back of Sol. You have to think that Sol should just let AJ go by here, pull a gap, because Struggs is, of course, racing through the pack. Chonk is also here, elbows out. He's had an amazing race so far, up like a gazillion positions. He's either going to overtake it or bin it. He's always a great one to watch as he's behind Louis Rivest, my old teammate. How long can the Canadian keep him behind? A North American battle here as Fade makes a place on Joker through the pack. Fade making up places on those hard tyres after having to pit early due to wing damage. Alex Struggs is up a place on the McLaren as well. Does that into Lepangle. Chonk only 5/10 behind. Closing, using a bit of ARS. How will lose choose to defend this? He goes up the inside. Chonk decides to try and hang it around the outside, but no, he can't make it. Does he get a better exit through Lepangle? 3-second time penalty for Struggs as he fights through the pack. Those will start to tick up. Those really could be crucial for race wins. And they're following each other so closely. Let's ride on board with the red helmeted Chonk. Through the popular Concorde, turn 3. The right-hander dips down into the left-hander of turn 4. Then you have a little kind of kink section, turn 5. And as I've said before, you just hook those wheels on the inside there to rotate it. Now gets a 3-second time penalty. AJ out in front with Sol leading. Still 6 tenths behind there. Sol keeping AJ behind. Obviously not feeling like he's got slow enough pace to let AJ behind. Those two. Surprised they're not working together a bit more. Sol. Chonk, does he go for an overtake up the inside? He tries to stick it in there. Does he have the room? Is there contact? There's a bit of bumping, but they're all facing the right direction. And guess who's right behind these two? Struggs. He will be waiting to pick up any crumbs. Maybe he'll forcefully go up, get him past. Lou gets back by. A better traction there. And Struggs just trying to keep his nose clean. Will he try and take Chonk here? He's got a lot more ERS to play around with, but still Chonk has something to use up. He doesn't make ground. He doesn't make ground here. And just, almost crashed into the back of Chonk there. Just keeps his nose clean. So, as we go on to lap 10, it's AJ. He's got ahead of Soul Collector here. He's got ahead of Soul Collector. So they started to do the switch. Allow Soul to catch up. And there's a spinner. It's Kev. It has to be Kev. There's a safety car. There is another safety car. So, that gives Soul good position to pit now. That gives Soul good position to pit. Lap 10, go on to pair mediums or hards, depending on how he's feeling. AJ will keep out in front on those medium tyres that he started on. Skull only a few tenths behind. Louis with S started on a pair of softs. So you'd imagine that Louis will start to pit here as well. Go on to a pair of mediums. He has 2 mediums for the race, the optimal race tyre, due to a kind of deficient strategy in the sprint race. But obviously, he don't score many points there, but he still scored a point on those hard tyres because he switched to softs. It's a full safety car, this. Do we expect cars to go into pits? I expect Soul Collector to go in. He's already lost a place somewhere, and I expect Lou to go in. Just gets that slowed down in time by the looks of it, Lou. Chonk takes those positions away. Struggs also climbing back through the order because of those pit stops. And he's gone on to another pair. Oh no, we'll just see if it switches. I have no idea why Lou's gone to burn up for softs. Maybe he feels like there's chances from around safety cars and he doesn't want to burn through his mediums so early. Interesting that he's gone to another pair of softs there. Soul Collector, what has he gone out on? We can have a quick look. If we change the detail to tyre, have a quick glance. Soul's gone out onto the pair of mediums, so he'll be doing soft medium to the end. AJ out in front on a pair of mediums, 10 lap olds. Skull and Chonk, who's just made up. I'm going to have to look up how many places he's actually made here because it's been superb. Let's have a quick look. Position change, 16 places. And now Chonk can show in the second half of this race how he loses 16 places. He's fantastic to watch, Chonk. 16 places made up. He's now in position 3 on lap 11. He's just slowly carved through the field on those medium tyres, letting other people get into instance and fighting where it matters. He's got a hungry Struggs behind him and will be doing another safety car on lap behind this Vantage F1 safety car. It's nice to see an Aston Martin leading. So if we switch back to the tyre graphic, let's have a quick look at penalties, see what's cracking. So Struggs got that 3-second penalty. McLeod also got a 3-second penalty, and Niall and Kev at the back also suffering with 3-second penalties. Kev spinning out, causing this safety car. A bit overzealous, if you ask me. So Kev gets another penalty under safety car. That is like one of the worst feelings under safety car, because I feel like the way I judge warnings and penalties are you have like 3 lives and then you get a warning. Yeah, so 3 lives over, and to use up one of your warnings under safety car while you're just weaving around, not paying attention, and to get a corner cutting warning under safety car is so frustrating because you're not racing. That doesn't gain you any time ultimately. And so frustrating. If I could disable that, if I could disable those warnings whilst under safety car periods, I absolutely would. But there's a lack of control in F1 22, which is to be expected from a yearly franchise, which is really frustrating as race director for the Syndicate Racing League. But you just have to work with the tools you're given. We want to race F1. This is the only F1 racing game out there with all the officially licensed cars in it. So this is the game we have to play. It's not always the best, but we make do. So frustrating to get a warning like that, though, using up one of your lives. So, Tyre-wise, Strug's on an 8-lap pair of hards here. The mediums aren't going to be too bad compared to those hards right now. They're not going to be too bad. The mediums can go to nearly halfway distance. Obviously, AJ will have to pop on a pair of hards towards the end. And we'll see how it's doing. Ferraris are having a quiet race. Matsusas, he's made up some places, hasn't he? He has made up some places. Let's have a quick look at that. Position gained. Yeah, Matsusas he places because he spanned near the end of the sprint. So a good race from Matsusas so far. McLeod, he's having another quiet belt of a race. He's up 10 places on those medium tyres, it looks like. Yep, medium tyres. He's been out since the start, just quietly making himself up the order as other cars have to pit through strategy or front wing damage. And having a good race there. The Mercedes boys were lowly at the start, but have made up lots of positions. The two North American drivers from the USA. Safety car is in this lap. So let's switch back to the penalties. Can Strugs make up some ground here? From the off. AJ warming up his tyres. Right to left, to right to left. When does he floor it? Sculder Bull just starting to watch him now. Everyone in single file nicely so far. As they run through this corner. Steps on the gas. And past that marker board. Racing resumes. Green flag racing resumes. On lap 14, after our third safety car period. 17 runners left. Strugs pushing Chonk as hard as he can. Lets them ride on board with Strugs, who's at the back of this pack. Alex Trent G having a very quiet, good race, up in 5th position. This is one of his tracks, I feel. He's been running well in the practices. And Chonk, Sculder Ball gets a little bit outline, and you don't have to say much more to the Chonk than that. As there is a yellow flag. Oh, it looks like a crash between Niall and Kev is out. And Duck Doodles is out. And you can presume that this is going to be another safety car. You have to presume that. Because Niall, Kev and Duck Doodles have been involved in some kind of collision. If this isn't a safety car, then what the hell? Because those other ones were safety cars. It doesn't look like it will be a safety car, having said that. So, there we are. The safety car comes out as the cars are removed. So, instant there. Let's. What we'll do here, we'll try and get Kev into the lobby to explain what happened there. Kev, have you shared your microphone? Kev? Hello? Oh, he's still connecting. That's annoying. Hello. How's it going? Have you shared your mic in chat? Have you shared your mic in the party? Go to party and then hit allow sharing of mic. It should be at the top of the party screen. Yeah, that's it. And then you'll be able to have your heard.
Cool, that's now.
So what happened to you there?
So I'm just watching it back. It looks like somebody goes out.
It looks like Niall, you, and Duck were involved.
Yeah, so Niles went sideways after taking out Duck potentially, and I've had no escape route whatsoever and right on the side of him.
Right, so you just crashed into a stricken car then?
Yeah, I'll share the clip. Disaster.
That's unfortunate.
Absolute disaster. So yeah, I thought I was going good as well. Sprinting, yeah, a bit of rage after getting overtaken on the line after a safety car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I've clipped it. But
Right,
when
okay.
I've paused myself, I've probably done it at the wrong time, and then I took damage, which then ruined my sprint race.
Oh, right, okay. That's what happened
So
to you there.
yeah, so all in all,
Frustrating
not a
weekend.
great weekend.
Not a great weekend for the Haas. Prib didn't get to make it to the grid.
No,
So
did not.
frustrating, but at least you're here in the commentary booth.
Correct. I don't know how much I'll add, but hey ho.
I think you won't detract there. You won't detract. That's the important thing. I think racing will go live again at the end of this lap. You'd have to presume the whole pack is together. There are safety car in this lap. I'm on board with Skull the Bull. I'll be watching Struggs from the off because he's the man on the move at the moment, in my opinion. As he backs off a little bit from Chonk. Chonk's had an excellent race. He's gone up like 15 positions or something, or 17 positions, something crazy.
He started behind me, so I was second last. So yeah, he was 19th.
He just made a load of positions. So
16.
AJ's hit. Has AJ hit it now? Yeah, AJ's hit it. Skull the Bull's right with him. Look at that. Oh, he's just backed off there. AJ, has he? Louis Vest gets a time penalty. And looks like Fade has spun. Through the. Oh, his wings off. Right. Chances of another safety car being there? I don't think so, hopefully. You spun there and caused the safety car, didn't you?
Yes. Didn't hit the wall of champions, so I hit the other wall on the left.
Oh, that's the insult to injury, isn't it?
It took my wing
That
off.
is insult to injury. So, be interested to see what happens to Fade there. I'm sure we'll find out after the race. Matusas is fighting with Fence, who turns 6 and 7, are they? We look backwards on McLeod. At those two cars battling. Fence has position as they go to turn 8. Strug's yet to make any time up on Chonk, actually falling behind. A second down. And Louis Vest's making up places. He's on a pair of soft tyres, so 6-lap old soft tyres. I'm surprised he hasn't ditched those for a pair of mediums yet, to be honest. I think he's going soft, medium. I think so. The two Aston Martin cars, because they did the race on hards, the sprint race on hards, they have 2 mediums for the race. So Niall is on his second set of mediums now, I believe, and Louis has done soft so far, and he's just given Matusas a nice little bump, a kiss out of turn 2, out of the Senna S. Struggs is still falling behind Chonk, so it looks like the medium runners have better pace at this stage of the race. AJ's holding off Skull. I don't think they'll have DRS this lap, but they'll have next lap. Who do you think will come out on top of this medium top 3 battle, Kev?
I think Chonk will come out on top of the medium battle, I think.
Yeah, if there's no safety car plan, I reckon Chonk will fight for the lead at least, won't he? He never backs away from the fight. There's a sector 3 yellow flag, trying to work out who's falling down. It looks like OS Degrees. There was an overtake from Niall on OS Degrees, so I think the Ferraris were involved in something. Chonk's got a penalty, so he's the first of those front 3 runners to get a penalty through there. I mean, you're doing very well to have no penalties, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think those on the medium strategy as well push higher up the grid near the end. The mediums are good round here.
They are the optimal tyre. You can see Struggs has pitted for the mediums, so he's decided that they are not worth anything. And Struggs, I believe, what did he do? Did he do the? He started on a pair of mediums. Did he start on an old pair of mediums then? No, he started on a pair of softs, then gone on to hards, and this is his medium set. So Struggs has decided he's losing too much pace on those mediums, on those hards.
On the
And
hards,
he's gone for a pair of mediums. And there's Chonk spun. Chonk has spun. So your commentator cursed him. Chonk's falling down the order. Where is he? That's 12th place.
12th
just on the exit of 9. So it's Skull and AJ battling at the front. You know, AJ's really good on fast circuits like this. He's good around Monza. Won the Monza race last season. And Skull is right behind AJ. They must have been tenths apart going into that final corner there.
Penalties are definitely going to play a part in this as well. McLeod's got 6 seconds already.
He's already got 6 seconds. That's quite a lot.
As hasn't it?
I don't expect anyone will make it through the whole race without a penalty. I think AJ will be one of those ones with lower penalties, but AJ just looks really, really consistent so far through this race. Touch wood. It'd be interesting to see. It'd be good if there was like a graphic of how many warnings that they've got, because you don't know if AJ's flirting with a penalty at this stage or if he's still got 2 warnings to go before then.
Yeah, so looking at race director, AJ so far.
So Skull has DRS on AJ, and I think AJ trying to defend the inside line here, but knows that's futile. So just he sent it in. And he spun. There's contact between Skull the Bull and AJ really just outbroke himself there and has left himself open to attack. Although Fence looks like he's made contact with the barrier. Turn 13. So that's very disappointing. Skull looks like he's got some kind of penalty from that, and there's another safety car, which is borderline ridiculous if that was the incident that required the safety car. Has AJ even lost his wing? Hard to tell at this stage because I'm riding on board with him, even on the off-board shot. Do you know how many penalties he's got?
So Skull the Bull got a 3-second penalty for corner cut and multiple warnings, and AJ doesn't have any warnings at this stage.
He doesn't have any warnings.
Not
so
a single warning.
He that contact there, but it looks like it was only him who was hindered by it, to be honest. Chonk has left the session. So, like Icarus himself, flew too close to the sun and is now in the doldrums. Soul saying you had pace in the sprint in all caps. I think in an apologetic way in the chat. To you, Kev.
To me.
Yeah. I mean, you were up there in the sprint. You were up there. You 7th or 8th?
6th.
Maybe a bit higher, right? You got 6th.
I was in 6th, but I did have 6 seconds of penalties. But I think I could have sneaked a top 8 and got a point.
Yeah, Lou ended up getting the final top 8 points there. Cars racing to line. Does anyone choose to pit on this lap? I expect Lewis will pit. He's fallen down he has pitted. Yep, he's gone on to a pair of mediums already. Joker and the McLaren of Alex Trent G have gone into the pits, meaning OS and Struggs make up places on them. So actually a good time for Struggs to go on a pair of mediums here, because he's made up some time through people deciding to go on to the better race pace tyre. So Louis Vestas took his first pair of mediums, so he's got 2 mediums to the end here, so he's going to be one to watch through it. What is his penalties looking like? 3 seconds worth of penalties. So, not too bad so far. Thinking back with AJ's incident, he did cause that incident, but I don't think he hurt anyone else in it. So, I don't want to preempt what the stewards are going to say. And as I'm only one steward, that would be my opinion. That he contact, but as long as Skull hasn't got any onboard damage there, then he hasn't actually necessarily done anything that warranted a penalty. Only caused himself to spin by outbreaking himself into turn 13.
Yep. Safety car in this lap.
Good to know. Let's go on board with Let's go on board with AJ for the start. He's behind Skull. Yeah, okay, yeah, of course, because of the huge take Skull did. So Fence is on a pair of hards. He's got good pace on those hards, Fence. No, not a lot of people showing pace on the hards. Matusas also on a pair of hards. See how he does with some faster cars with mediums on behind. Watch this, our 5th safety car. I think Skull's about to put pedal to the metal. He does use a bit of ARS. Matusas gets a penalty for corner cutting. And who is close in the order? Let's look at Struggs. He's right behind Niall. He'll be wanting to make a move on the Aston Martin car quickly. Fox gets a penalty for corner cutting, presumably through T1. As he cuts through the Pont de la Concorde. Turn 3 downwards into turn 4. Does he get a better driver than Aston Martin? He does, but it's so tight there. He does go too wide there. He does go too wide. Puts it up the inside, but you are going to be hung out to dry on the outside, but way better traction from Struggs. And now just relinquishes that place. So, a good move from Struggs then. OS Degrees sneaks through as well. A cheeky move there from OS. And Niall's a bit all over the place on those mediums. Now he's got Louis Vest looking to also add insult to injury and making the lead Aston Martin on track. So if we jump back to the lead, we have AJ. He's 6 tenths behind Skull, but look at Fence. He's only a tenth behind. And he will be wanting to make a move on those hard tyres. Newer hard tyres, but they should starting to come into a bit of grip compared to the mediums at this later stage. The offset becomes a bit better. Niall's lost a place to Fox as well by the looks of it now. So he's fallen really far back. I wonder if he has damage, Kev.
Very possibly. Could be underfloor.
Yeah, that
can't be Wenger. I
painful.
think he would have pit.
Yeah, must have done. So still right behind AJ here, but AJ has closed up dramatically with Skull through the first sector there. And AJ looking, peeking out, seeing whether it's worth making an overtake, and it's concertina's up and kind of expands down the straight, but really gets tight and fiddly. Through 7 and 9, there is a safety car. Oh, and it's Fence. He was doing so well. Everyone who does well in this race has a crash, right? Yeah? It's one by one. So. There's another full safety car. Ludicrous amounts of safety cars so far. Niall has replied saying, I spun out in the same place twice. However, the second time I was trying to overtake Duck. So unsure if he's got damage. He's definitely listening though. That was at 21:57.
Skull's pitting.
Skull's pitting. Okay, right. Okay, so he's pits. He is going to go on to presumably a pair of hards. This is his first pit.
I think he got a speeding penalty as well going into the pits, so he's up to 8 seconds.
So up to 8 seconds, he can serve 5 of those in the race. Who else pits? McLeod pits. He's going onto a pair of hards. I don't think he has pitted yet. Fade. He's on to a second pair of mediums. So I believe Fade went soft. So he has 2 pairs of mediums in this race. And Louis Vest, he has broken his front wing and is back onto a pair of softs. So one to watch into the wall. So yeah, it's a long way to go though. We're not even at half race distance. It's gone 10 o'clock. We're not even at half race distance. I think this could go up quite close to 11 o'clock this race. Struggs somehow back into second place through all of that. But Struggs will have to pit again, right?
I would say so. He's currently running mediums 6 laps, which are 18 laps newer than AJ's. So I think AJ's possibly going for the one-stop strategy.
I think so. Go onto a pair of hards, maybe lap 35, something like that, and then if there's a late safety car, ditch him for a pair of softs.
Yeah, possibly. So, they do 2 or 3 laps to warm up in this track.
So he's gone onto a pair of mediums a few laps ago, and he's worked his way back up the order. OS Degrees looking quite nice in 5th place. What are the penalties looking like? 3 seconds for both of the Ferraris, 8 seconds for Matusas in third. One of those must be a 5-second penalty speeding in the pit lane. Struggs has a 3-second penalty. Niall, 6 seconds of penalties. He's back up to 7th. And Louis, he didn't make the best of those mediums, had contact at the worst time on them. He's got good pace, Louis. He qualified 5th, didn't he? But just couldn't.
Yep, that sounds right.
But he just couldn't, make it count because he radioed up early. I think his excuse was, dog ate my homework on that one.
Classic.
So Niall's saying he does have floor damage, so you're correct on that assumption. Good spot there, Kev. Presumably we'll go racing here. Yeah, we are about to go racing. I think Struggs will make quick work of AJ here, with him being on so much older mediums. I'm surprised AJ is just going for a one-stop, is it here? I'm surprised he didn't follow Skull into the pits.
Fade going really slow there.
Yeah, interesting. I'm not quite sure what he's doing. Maybe a spin out of the Lepangle hairpin. Louis?
My guess was he'd done it to slow down to get a bit of heat in his tyres on the final straight.
Burn them out. So, let's watch on board with Struggs as he tries to attack AJ into the open corner. Matusas also wanted to be involved in the battle. Louis got another penalty. Soul Collector in 4th place. He has no penalties so far. Running well, those 2 Red Bull cars. They've really worked on consistency recently. Struggs looking down the inside of turn 3, but doesn't get as good as drive through turn 2 as AJ. Struggs made some good overtakes through here on Niall at the safety car restart last round. That was putting really far up the order. A bit wider through there. AJ will be clinging on for dear life. There's an overtake from Fade on McLeod. McLeod is also then took by Lou at the back, and there is a yellow flag. It is Joker. Joker has spun out, but he gets back underway. No safety car needed there, you'd presume. As Struggs 3 tenths down from AJ. Can he get him onto the straight? He's got a full load of charge, so he'll definitely use a little bit of charge here to get by. You'd think AJ using not too much charge either, so they're keeping their batteries very high, these two. 2 tenths behind. OS Degrees has got ahead of Soul. Does he make it stick? Yes, he makes it stick through 3 and 4. Struggs is pushing AJ all the way, and they are dropping Matusas a bit. I think Matusas on the harder tyres, suffering on that compound a little bit, not as fast as that older tyre of AJ. OS right on the back of Matusas as well now. Struggs is going to fight all the way, but he's just keeping his ERS charged, to be honest. I think Struggs knows it's inevitable that he'll get him, so he'll take him when it's good and proper for him, and maybe let AJ burn a bit of ERS too. He's used 5% Struggs, so he's basically not using it, but he's looking at the inside into Lepangle, thinks better of it, but he's right behind, gets a better drive through there, hits the late apex of that hairpin, but traction is better on the out-hand side, it seems, for AJ. As Louis Rivest and Fade, they're battling in the pack. Let's see what's going on there. They are battling. Looks like Louis has got by Fade there, but the Williams has better drive on the outside. As we go back to the battle at the front, Struggs still 3 tenths behind. What happens to Lou and Fade? So Lou's just lost out to Fade there, but he's going to go for another attack. Does he look up the inside? He thinks about it. He's going for it, but it's so difficult to overtake through there because it becomes the outside of 2. And then he's thinking about the outside of 3, which is a very dangerous spot to be put into. He tries to hang out on the outside, but he does relinquish that position. As we go back on board with Struggs, he'll be having his first lick of DRS on AJ, and will he be able to take him here? I think he knows the better overtaking opportunity is the back straight. So, hangs back, They're dropping Matusas, so that's fine with him. He gets to recharge a bit of the EOS and just keep that high. AJ, he's running half charge on the EOS, so this is inevitable that Struggs will take him down here. It should be a simple DRS overtake halfway down the straight. Fade has made some big positions in the middle where we'll jump to what's going on with Fade behind there. I think Skull and Alex is falling
Struggs
back.
making a move.
Yeah, round the outside.
Past.
And I think he gets it done. And it's double DRFs for good measure, so no fight back from AJ there. OS Degrees is close behind Matusas. And we're looking at Louis Rivest. He's got by used Phase as a bit of a part in this here. As Fade goes on the attack on Skull the Bull, he gets by. Louis Rivest, he'll try and sneak through as well. Skull on those harder tyres. Oh, he just gets a bit tardy out of there. Skull the Bull. Louis Rivest unable to avoid contact with the back of Skull there. That was a bit of an unfortunate incident to ride on board with, but just looks like Skull lost it on the exit corner. Were you riding with Lou then?
No, I'm riding with AJ, who's dropped almost a second and a half back to Struggs already. I think he'll be pitting shortly, otherwise he'll clear the 3 seconds within a lap. Struggs to compensate for his penalties. Yeah. So I think AJ will pit soon.
Skull the Bull has lost a bit of time as well, so that's where the battle was between AJ and Skull the Bull. So I think AJ could possibly pit and get out ahead with that contact between Lou and Skull. OS Degrees has made a move on Matusas. Does he keep it stick into turn 13? He does, and he gets the double DRS helping as well. OS Degree on a mission in the top 3. I think that's the first time he's been in the top 3 this year.
And that's another 3 seconds for Skull to build it. And penalties up to 11 now.
It can start to unravel, can't it? I think he can serve 5 seconds of those, but 6 seconds still seems very high when the 2 Red Bulls, Fade and Trent, and Joker as well, are yet to get penalties. Joker doing very well not to get a penalty so far. OS Degrees will work to close down on AJ. What tyre is... He's on a pair of mediums. I think they're a lot fresher, these mediums, than AJ's. So 12 laps to 30 lap old mediums.
Yeah, there's 2 people must be due to stop soon. Matusas has got 30 lap old hards and AJ's on 30 lap old mediums. Looks like they're both going for the one stopper.
I think Matusas can go probably another 10 lap on those and give himself 30 laps on the mediums. And then it gives him an opportunity to do a splash and dash onto softs at the end. Louis Vest making progress on those softs, but they'll start to run out of tyre life soon, presumably.
Yep, 7 laps old. I reckon he's got about 3 laps of good life.
Oh, and Fade is going up the inside of Captain Rainbow Fox. Does he make that one stick? Fox tries to hang around the outside, but he goes off track. And then Louis Vest says, "Thank you very much. I'm taking that position off you, Fox. No hard feelings, but you went off track and fought a battle you couldn't win." Fade and Louis. Fade is slicing through the pack. I think Louis is just picking up all of the crumbs that Fade leaves. It's like parting of the seas of Moses.
Yep. The only thing Louis not got going for him here is the fact he needs to pit again. It's definitely not going to do some softs.
I think if you do another 10 lap on these softs, I mean, even if he gets to lap 35, he could probably do 35 laps on mediums. He has got another fresh pair of mediums. As Fade is now attacking Soul, but Soul has DRS from the back of Matusas just in his coattails. That is going to be used in defence. Soul does get a 3-second time penalty there for cutting the second part of that chicane. Gets his first time penalty, so only AJ, Fade, Alex and Joker now with no penalties. And they're right on the back of Matusas, right? So you'd expect certainly Soul to get through Matusas quite quickly. Fade and Louis to follow quite quickly too.
Yeah, there's another 3 seconds for McLeod. That takes him up to 9 now.
Now? 9, right, okay. DRS laps open for the free cars. Matutas really clogging things up now, cork in the bottle on those hard tyres. He runs wide, there's a bit of a disconnect, desync from Sol, and I think Fade was a bit wary of that. And there's a nudge from the behind from Lou. I don't think any damage is done. And does Lou go up the inside of Latangle? He does. I don't see what it will achieve. He gets a slow exit out of there, but he is right behind Fade now. Will he think about a move? He uses a bit of EOS. So I certainly think he's thinking about it. Will he look to the inside? It'd be a dangerous move to go for it there. He looks, but he doesn't take the opportunity. As Fade now surely has Sol in his grip. Sol had a very bad exit out of turn 13. AJ's gone into the pits. AJ's pitted from second place. So he's taking those hards now. So they did 33 laps.
Yep, that's right.
AJ and Fade have just had contact. Hard to tell who's at fault for that one, but I think they both had similar exits, and there was a bit of a movement from Fade, but there was also a bit of a movement from Lou. I don't know if you caught that one too.
I didn't know, I missed it.
So that's another safety car. I think the safety car comes out as soon as someone has a crash around here. Lou's lost another front wing, but I think Lou can take mediums from here. Fade will be very frustrated. I'm not quite sure why Lou started to attack Fade, to be honest, because Fade was doing a lot of good work for Lou. I thought it was a kind of, a handshake agreement they had to fight through the pack there. But yeah, bit of contact between those two. I'm unsure if Fade has damage. He doesn't look like he's turning too nicely into that corner, and yes, he's lost his front wing. So You expect a pit from Fade and Lou. Fade frustratingly going to have to lose those pair of mediums. No comments in chat, so we'll see who blames who for that one, but they'll certainly be pitting. Who else is pitting? So OS Degrees, he's going on to a pair of softs. Matusas is also in the pits. Matusas has gone onto a pair of the soft tyres. Yeah, he's gone to a pair of soft tyres.
Almost everyone's went here.
Yeah. So that's quite good news for AJ.
It is.
Because
it's jumped right back above everyone prepared.
Yeah, that's
except
great news
OS.
for AJ. Except OS.
Except OS will have to pit again because he's went softs. Yeah,
so AJ to the end here. You'd imagine Struggs has to pit again. He's on 16 lap old mediums. He'll probably go to a lap 50 odd and go onto a pair of softs. But
Oops.
That's fortuitous. Oh, Sol's out.
Sol's in the wall. Yep, he's gone. He must have spun coming out the pit.
Those hard tyres got the best of him. Yeah,
definitely. 0 laps old.
Cold tyres, they can be quite spinny, can't they? Especially out the pit lane. You don't quite know where to brake anyway. So that'll be disappointing for Sol.
Sol's just put in the comments saying that his wheel failed on him.
So that's why he's gone straight in. His wheel's disconnected. Yeah. AI hasn't took control, and he's just
right into
lost
the wall.
His front end in the wall. That's a difficult one.
He says that Louis and Fade crashed, or Fade spun and caught Louis. He's not quite sure.
Don't buy Fanatec wheels. That's what Sol's saying right now. Logi G for life. Niall is saying that Lou thinks Fade turned into him. So I mean, riding on board, it looked like there was a little correction from Fade, and I'd be interesting to watch that again. I'd love to have some kind of replay system where I could just replay exactly what I was watching. I guess I could have looked at the screen below, which is slightly behind, but I didn't actually think to do that. But the people can't see that, so they don't really want to commentate on something they can't see. But we'll just have to look at it afterwards. They both had to pit. Fade had to go on a pair of soft tyres. He'll have to pit again. Louis Vest is on a pair of mediums that will go to the end. Is the good news. Niall also on a pair of mediums that are quite fresh. They'll go to the end too. The soft runners, they're going to have to pit again. Alex and McLeod, they'll be going a long time on those hards if they don't pit again. If they made it to the end on those hards, and Struggs on those mediums, he'll have to pit again. you have any predictions for the win? Who do you think's going to win it from this far out?
From here?
Last time you called Chonk, but it didn't last well for him.
Who do I want to curse this time? I think AJ's got a great chance. He doesn't. I don't think he'll have to pit again unless he has some damage. Yeah, I'm going to stick with AJ this time.
I think AJ's a big shout because he's been quite unflappable. He had that small mistake at turn 12 and 13, outbreaking himself and having contact with Skull, but he's pitted all at the right time to go for a one stop because he's straight back up to 5th place. Although he'll have a hard time with those soft runners behind him, so he'll just have to keep cleaning those opening laps and try to look forward as much as possible. But yeah, I think AJ's a good shout. I mean, Alex Trent G, he's in 2nd place through those pit stops. That's a credible performance for Alex. McLeod's up to 4th place on a pair of similarly old hard tyres. So he's had a really clean race to play, hasn't he? But I think you're looking Struggs, AJ. You know, I mean, who knows? It could be a roll of the dice. OS Degrees has worked his way through the pack. He's got to pit again, certainly, but could probably do soft medium if he has a pair of mediums to go on to. So the safety car is in this lap. Switch to penalties. Alex got no penalties as well so far. Running high and no penalties. That is good. So we go on board as the cars warm their tyres up. Alex left a big room to Struggs here, but I think he just knows he's not fighting him, to be honest, so he's not really focused on him. But OS Degrees behind, he is hungry to make moves, and he'll be going for a move straight away. Looks to the inside of turn 1. There's not a space there, and he gets right behind the McLaren, and the McLaren has terrible exit drive from turn 2. OS Degrees slides into turn 2 nicely. AJ makes a place from McLeod too. He's moving forward from the start. Joker's got another 3-second time penalty. So OS Degrees only 8/10 behind Struggs here. Now, OS Degrees, what is he on? How old are these tyres? Not that old, right? 3 laps, so you expect him to have better pace than Struggs here and catch him up. As there's another spinner, Joker has spun at the back of the pack there in the Alpine. He gets going again. I don't think there'll be a need for a safety car for that incident. But OS Degrees is wanting to make progress here. AJ also wanting to make progress. He's right behind the McLaren of Alex Trent G. Neither of these have penalties. Both running on the hard tyres, although AJ's are considerably newer. OS is closing in on the final corner. Does he look to the inside? He has a look, he has a glance, but he thinks better of it. Does he get a better drive here? AJ makes up a ground through the final corner as Alex Trent G starts to become a cork in the bottle. McLeod is next to overtake. OS Degrees, you'd imagine, will try and get through quite quickly here and build a gap.
OS should be able to take Struggs 16 laps, newer tyres, soft compound as well, so it should be faster.
I think
a little spin by McLeod.
Oh,
contact
really
as well.
bad news.
Could be a safety car.
McLeod's back underway. They are all back underway, so that's a good sign that there wouldn't be a safety car, but he's lost a lot of positions there.
Someone did catch the side of him. I didn't quite catch who it was. I think it was possibly Niall, but I'm not sure.
Niall's been a bit in the wars. Obviously, part of the reason you're out, and he apologised for a move he made on Ben at the start, so it's not been the cleanest race from Niall in his SRL debut in the Aston Martin, filling in for Rugriff 88. OS Degrees has took Struggs for the start for the lead of the race, so now he has the ability. He's absolutely tore for his ERS. Struggs on 75% ERS, OS on none, and getting a terrible exit out of turn 2. But he does have fresher tyres, so he should be able to build a gap here. You can just see the gap growing through this technical sector. Struggs has just remained in the DRS here, but you expect him to fall away even if he has DRS just for this stretch. Matusas now the next in line for Alex Trent G. The Aston Martin's not too far behind, but Fade is right behind Matusas as well. AJ up into third.
Fox is making a move on McLeod, or trying to. Yep,
He does it.
past him.
He makes it.
Louis very close to Niall as well.
Yes, he is. Yes,
I think he'll make a move on the straight, I think.
Oof. Almost makes contact through that
He
corner,
did.
so loses a bit of time. Matusas has now got DRS on Alex Trent G. That's quite simple. Can Fade follow him through? Fade is just too far back there. That's 5 tenths. But maybe through this next part, much better corner there. Alex actually getting a corner cutting penalty for overrunning that curb. And Fade around the outside. Can he make that stick? That's a better position to be in.
Louis,
and yeah, he's cleanly had
Louis
that
just passed Niall on the home straight there.
into 7th. So he'll be looking at Alex Trent G next in the McLaren. The orange papaya coloured McLaren.
Fox is very close to Niall as well. I think he'll be looking to make a move this lap, if possible.
And Skullball spun. He spun
has.
turn 4 and gets going again. So no need for a safety car there, please. As we have Niall falling backwards.
That puts Joker into 11th based on penalties, actually 10th based on penalties almost. Due to the difference.
McLeod is suffering,
It's
isn't
very
he?
close. Joker almost at the points.
So Fade 7 tenths down on Matusas. But Matusas is catching AJ here. Matusas on much nicer softs will catch AJ and presumably pass him. But AJ is happy, letting those people by, knowing they've got to pit again. He'll just try and keep him behind for as long as possible and keep in touch with Struggs and OS up front. OS pulled a little bit of a gap, 1.7 seconds, nothing to write home about, but Struggs' tyres will start to come back to him and be able to pull back OS here. But you imagine Matusas will be able to get AJ on this lap. Lou also very close behind Alex, and he's going for an unorthodox move into turn 6. And can he make that stick on the exit? You just feel like you're going to understeer into that corner, but I think he does make that stick, and he gets the benefit of DRS. So now, can he push onwards and catch up with Fade, who he had a collision with that made him have to pit and cause that last safety car? Fox has got past now while we were talking about that. So Fox making steady progress on those softs. Matusas now 3 tenths behind AJ. You expect this to be a straightforward DRS pass. And AJ not to battle us too much with Fade behind, the Williams teammate. It could get quite tactical between those two. Matusas doesn't actually get past him to the turn 12. So, still another lap. Those softs may be starting to get a bit worse for wear. What are the tyre life on them? 8 laps.
Crash by Skull the Bull.
Oh, Skulls had a crash.
Lost his wing.
Did Joker avoid him? There's another safety car.
Very lucky there. He actually went into the... He went in the way of Joker there, but the game decided to ghost Skull. That would have been a DNF for Joker there, if it wasn't for the game intervening.
So, I'm trying to work out if this is good or bad for AJ. I think AJ... he doesn't want to pit, does he? But it does give everyone more or less, especially those soft runners, it gives them an opportunity to ditch the softs. And you expect everyone running those softs, you expect OS Degrees to pit. He doesn't pit. Struggs is going to pit. So Struggs is boxing opposite there, and he'll be going on to a pair of softs maybe here?
Possibly. Very possibly. Let's see.
Pair of softs and get ready for... He'll think probably there's another... I think it's a pair of hards.
He's went hard.
So he's gone back on to those hards that he suffered really hard with at the start of the race. So I think you weren't with us then, Kev, but he really, really suffered on those hards and had to ditch them for a pair of mediums. I don't know, 24 laps in maybe.
Yeah, so they're 14 laps old, the ones he just put on.
Yeah, they'll get to the end.
They will.
And he's in a straight battle with AJ though, but his car is 4 laps older.
Yeah, they're 4 laps older, yeah.
Fade hasn't pitted. Louis Rivest up into 4th on those mediums. I'm just going to pop to the loo, so if you could carry on commentating for a second, that'd be great.
No worries.
Bye-bye.
So it looks like everyone's pitted who's going to pit, unless there's a late pit from someone here, although it would be unlikely. OS may decide to go, given he's on softs. Be interesting to see what he does. Nope, he's continuing. So no one else pitting by the looks of things. Just be a case of the safety car coming to an end. Should hopefully be at the end of this lap.
Yeah, you'd think they'd be able to catch in time. Have Joker and Skull pitted. Yeah, they've both got wings, so...
Yeah, Skull has pitted, Joker has not.
Right, okay.
He's on...
So maybe Joker just going very slowly.
Unless he pitted onto old hards, which is possible.
Yeah, let's have a quick look in the race director and see what the pit stops look like. Gonna have to get all the way to the bottom here. So Joker has just gone onto those hards. Matusas going onto mediums as well. It's an interesting one. I think AJ and Struggs are actually now battling on equal tyres, really. 4 laps difference, but you'd expect Struggs to have the pace to come back through the pack. Will, a pair of softs or something like that become a viable strategy? Maybe. AJ definitely has softs left. I'm not sure if Struggs does. Just catching up, but I don't think it will come in this lap because the safety car is so far up. As soon as it goes by, you don't know it's definitely not coming in. It's not coming in this lap. So, one more lap. Under safety car will be lap 46 when we get going again. Presuming there's no incidents.
Yep.
"24 laps to go. A length of a sprint away, really, from race completion. We've only had 8 cars fall out. It's annoying how many safety cars we've had for instance where the cars have driven away. Two and a half hours into this session. So it's been a long one, hasn't it?
It has, and I'm up at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh, that'll be a grim one. So safety cars in this lap. We have OS Degrees. He'll be taking control of the pack now. And AJ just behind him. Now the only car left with no penalties. It's worth noting. So AJ doing supremely well this far in to get no penalties. Fade right behind. He'll be hungry on a pair of softs, but those softs will start to turn and start to curdle. Louis Rivest just behind. He's on a good pair of mediums, and penalty-wise, he's got 6 seconds worth of penalties, but I don't I fancy Louis' chances here. I don't anymore because he just got a penalty. So, crikey. AJ, all over the back of OS here. OS's tyres are still start to fall away. And AJ will be wanting to quickly take the lead off of OS. Lou also quite close behind Fade. Fade close behind AJ too. You'd imagine Louis has a pace advantage on those tyres. Struggs behind Fox. Oh, no one's running too close at the moment. Matusas is 2 tenths behind McLeod. He'll be wanting to get by quickly. I'm sure Matusas will think he'll have better pace. As McLeod has a pair of hards, Matusas has quite a fresh pair of mediums here. That should take him to the end. We ride on board with Fade. He's 5 tenths down on AJ. And actually, OS is pulling a gap on AJ. So still some life in those soft tyres at this stage. But obviously, you're looking at pit stops, certainly, for Fade and OS. Struggs getting past Fox into the final chicane. And, there's... Alex Trent G was up in the air when I looked there. That would be a definite safety car. Alex Trent G is in the Wall of Champions. I'd be surprised if that wasn't a safety car and the last one was. I think this is one of the ones that is going to... His car will go and then the safety car will come out. But he was proper into the Wall of Champions there. I don't know if you saw what happened.
No, I missed it, but it's resumed.
No safety car for that one. So, right. The game's ridiculous, isn't it? As Fade looks like he's just had a bad exit there and Louis has got by. So, Struggs right behind Louis now. And he'll be fighting for on a pair of hards. So it's Louis on a medium race tyre here. 9 seconds worth of penalties, which does damage his race hopes. But Fade, I don't know if Fade purposely gave those positions to Struggs there. I don't know if he's had a bit of wing damage or what happened on the exit there. But I wonder how long Fade will opt to stay out for here. I don't know if he's enjoying those softs too much at the moment. He does do another tour, but he gets a 3-second time penalty, so he's up to 6 seconds worth of time penalties at this stage. OS maintaining a gap of 1.6 seconds at the front. Struggs on those pair of hards, making good progress. Can he overtake Lou? He's only 2 tenths behind. You'd expect him to make a challenge of it at least.
Yep, and Lou had a bad exit on turn 2 there, but Struggs was unable to capitalise on it.
We'll have DRS, and this will mean that Lou, who has a fair chunk of ERS, he'll have to start using that if he wants to maintain that position. And I think Louis wants to run to the end here. He's on a pair of mediums that will make it to the end. So I think he'll battle this one, Lou. I don't think he'll let it slide easily. As we look, there's only 3 temps behind them, and the DRS flap pops open.
Yeah, he's got him.
To the outside, there's quite a large speed differential. Lou chucks back in there, doesn't defend that one too hard, but Lou gets a bit of a better exit out of turn 13. And will he take? He's right behind him. Will he try and take him the inside? I think he does. Ooh. So tight, nearly contact, almost contact there, but just leaving enough room for each other. Now Niall is up into 5th position. Fade has pitted, I believe. Fade has pitted onto a pair of mediums.
Fox had just took Matusas, but Matusas got a better exit and takes it back.
They are battling.
Contact.
And they spin. And that's going to be a safety car. That has to be a safety car.
And a DNF for Fox.
A DNF for Fox. He'll be frustrated. That's too far out. 2 get points as well. So there's only 10 runners left now. I don't know how that isn't a safety car, because that actually had a stricken car in the way. People had to go slow there to avoid it. So that one being a safety car, surely you'd hope.
I don't know. Maybe there's a safety car limit, and they've already hit it.
Yeah, possibly. That would be music to AJ's ears, knowing that some of the people he's battling will have to pit. AJ's closed down on OS at the front here, and started to encroach on him. He hasn't got DRS, so we'll see if he can maintain that 8-tenth gap. But Lou is only 6 tenths behind Struggs. He's keeping up with Struggs, so I think Lou will just kind of try and use Struggs like he used Fade in the earlier part of this race on that better race compound, the medium tyre. Oh, riding on board with Fox and Matusas, what do you feel happened there?
It looked like Matusas took Fox. Fox tried to fight back. Initial thoughts are that it was Matusas's corner. Fox has tried to go down the inside. I don't know if he gave him enough room or not. It was hard to say. I was on board with Matusas at the time.
Yeah, well, I was on board with Fox, and I felt like trying to hang it around the outside there is always a dangerous game.
Yeah.
There was
it
a
looked
bit
like
of contact.
Matusas's corner.
It
Those
cost
initial
them both.
thoughts.
I think they both spun, didn't they?
Yeah.
So Matusas doesn't seem to have got damage.
I'm sure there'll be some clips submitted for review.
Yeah, for certain. And AJ is only 2 tenths behind OS here. He will try and overtake him into the first corner, up the inside. Can he get the job done? He can. OS has to relinquish that position. AJ takes the corner through turn 2, and they've actually pulled out on Struggs a bit on over that lap. So AJ and OS showing good pace through that lap. Just DRS training away from Struggs, who's a bit in no man's land. Lou is only 9 tenths down on Struggs, and I think he'll just have DRS on. May have just fallen out of DRS range. We'll see if he just stayed within there. He's doing everything to cling on to the pace of those front runners. Lou and Niall running in 4th and 5th to 2 Aston Martins. I think he just fell out of DRS range there.
Yeah, I'm just flicking through the race director, and remarkably, AJ, I don't think he's got a single warning yet.
He's on something today, isn't he? He's absolutely on something. Like he's got...
Yep, not a single warning.
He's got 5 seconds on Struggs here, effectively, and Struggs got his warning quite early, didn't he? So Struggs battling through the pack, he may be quite far up on warnings. As OS dives to the pits, he's decided those softs have done their job, and time to pit on something else. It looks like another pair of softs. Is it another pair of softs? It is another pair of softs he's gone on to. So he reckons those softs will go to the end. He'll make some gains, but I think he'll hope for a safety car pretty soon to make those gains for him, to be honest.
Yep, you're right about Struggs. Struggs got his penalty on the 8th lap, so very, very early.
You'd imagine that it's quite soon that he'll get another, unless he hasn't had any more warnings. But he's 2 seconds down on AJ.
I'm just looking through just now. He got another warning on the 30th lap. Another one on the 40th lap. So he's only one warning.
He's one
away
warning
from
away.
Penalty.
And he's 1.6, 1.5 behind AJ. Yeah. Law of averages, you have to expect him to get another warning before the end. You wonder how hard AJ will battle.
He is pushing Struggs if he wants to beat AJ, so I think he will get another penalty.
Pair of hards for both of these two front runners. Lou on a pair of mediums. He has 9 seconds worth of penalties. Now running a good race in 4th place, but Matusas 4 tenths behind. He's got DRS. Is he going to look for a move into the first corner? I think he's a bit too far back there. About 5 tenths back. He needs to be a bit closer than that to make a move into the first corner, but he's looking racy, isn't he, Matusas? He's had a few contacts in this race, but he's always raced through the pack. Struggs and AJ running similar levels of ERS as well on usage-wise. Skull the Bull, he was in that race for the lead, wasn't he? But ever since pitting on that lap, he's just been in the wars, hasn't he? 15 seconds of penalties now.
Yeah, I think that all but cement 10th place for him.
He's got an opportunity here. Fade in behind takes McLeod into the hairpin, and Matutas goes the long way around, but I think he gets the job done on the straight, and he'll have 2 helpings of DRS, takes the corner much nicer, and I think that's job complete for Matutas. He'll be looking forward at the fellow Aston of Louis Revest, both running medium tyres at this stage, so they both have the optimal race tyre. OS Degrees setting fast lap on those new softs. He's only 5 seconds behind the 5th place runner of Niall, but he'll already be ahead on the road, so that will give him great confidence as Struggs just breaks into the DRS barrier. But Lou has binned it. He's binned it, and he's just parked it on the curb, has he? Oh, it was running too well for Lou, wasn't it? At his home Grand Prix, and now he's doing a kind of Raganathan impression in the runoff and doing a 17-point turn. That's disappointing. I feel like we must have hit our safety car limit, to be honest. But a lot of that did happen in the runoff zone. So Struggs now only 5 tenths behind AJ. He's broken well and truly into that ERS barrier. AJ's got a little less, that DRS bubble at least. And I feel that Struggs has a bit more ERS here. So he'll buy this time. But, you know, as we said earlier, only 1 warning away from another penalty, whereas AJ's yet to receive a warning.
Yeah, Louis got no wing, obviously, so he's going to have to pit. He'll come out in last place with 6-second buffer on the penalties to Skull the Bull. McLeod's just got another 3 seconds, taking him to 18.
It's still a point, though, isn't it? It's still a point. Niall looking like it's running well in the 4th. OS Degrees has already took 2.5 seconds out of that gap, though, in a matter of a lap and a half, I would say. So you can see that position going his way quite quickly. I think he'll find it a challenge to catch up to the running front 2, though.
Louis surprisingly went on mediums.
Has he? So he has got... I think he did have
no
another pair of
softs
mediums. I think he has a pair of mediums he barely used on 1 laps, but Struggs is only 2 tenths behind. Will he go for a move here? He does look to the inside. Do they try and go too wide through here? They do. Oh, I think AJ's just been pushed over the curb there, and that's probably cost him a warning. I think defending that has cost him another second as well, which is quite crucial, because that's now only 2 seconds that Struggs needs to get. But any safety car here, that causes a big change in the order, I'd say, if we get another safety car. OS Degrees closing in on Niall quite quickly. Niall's only 2.5 seconds down on Matusas, so you expect OS Degrees to catch up with this ill car of Niall's. I think his car has underfloor damage from reports we received from him. Fades gets a time penalty. He's only 5 seconds behind this battle here, and he has ERS for the first time on Niall, so you can probably expect this overtake to be done this lap. He'll have a better drive through here, certainly. And OS just got another penalty for good measure. Pushing too hard, but he still has a 3-second advantage over Niall. You can kind of expect him to get DRS here and get it job done, I think. But he has used a lot of ERS OS. And Niall has a fair chunk to defend with, but how hard will he defend? He goes to the inside, says I'm taking the inside. Then he does go back over to the left there. I think that was just within the lines of reactive and not reactive, but he relinquishes the position anyway, because he goes wide through that corner. So OS up into 4th position. AJ's been able to stick within a second of Struggs, which will buoy him with confidence. Is he in the DRS range? I don't think he's just quite in the DRS range, but it will give him great confidence that he's maintained that gap. Hopefully he's not pushing too hard. So Sol said he's going off. Yes, looks like he is. So there's been a spin. It must be Skull the Bullets now for Romeo. And AJ has a penalty. He's been pushing too hard to maintain that gap. Louis is now well within range of Skull the Bull. But AJ has the penalty now. So he's desperately trying to keep up with Struggs. He's probably got 3 warnings about 4 laps. I think he probably got a warning during Struggs' overtake, though. So that could be protestable. It depends. OS hasn't caught as much on Matusas as I thought he would have. I think there's Sector 3. I think Skull the Bull has had the moment. And he gets going again. So spin through the final corner. And I think a safety car here would get everyone to pit for softs, basically, wouldn't it? And have a final few laps shootout. I almost wonder if it's worth it for AJ. Now he has a similar amount of penalties just to go onto a pair of softs at this point, because I'd make it to the end, and if there's any kind of safety car, then would he gain positions on Struggs? He would if he gets a few laps in. I think he probably would fall into 5th. I reckon he could get by those 2 cars quite quickly. But yeah, it depends how quickly he can get those switched on and whether he could get the undercut to work on Struggs. And then Struggs is in a position where he's on an old pair of tyres. It would require a safety car to work, I think. And we haven't had any for a while. Do you think there's actually a quota? Would it surprise you? No. I think AJ just needs to know that he's Struggs has got 2 warnings, right? So he's dangerously close to getting another one. Fade gets another warning. He's up to 12 seconds of warnings. But he is catching up on Niall. OS is also catching up with Matusas, so that battle certainly hasn't dwindled. And he's caught about a second over the last few laps. Not an absolute complete differential in pace, though, so it'll be hard for OS to overtake, I reckon. He is. Yeah, you expect him to be in DRS by next lap. Fade is 2 temps down on Niall and trying to make a move. Oh, has he? All right, again. Fade just took Niall. So Fade up into 5th place on a recovery drive in his Williams. OS degrees. He's now... I don't think he's made the DRS cut off. He's used a bit too much EOS really early on that straight as well. And how much energy has... Yeah, so Matusas has a bit more energy deployment left. AJ has stayed within a second. He'll be really furious that he got those warnings, because he stayed within a second and kept Struggs honest. And they've both got similar levels of ERS as well, so it's not like Struggs is like absolutely just holding back. So he must be pushing quite hard as well, keeping it within the limit for these final 8 laps of the Grand Prix. OS still not in the DRS. Yep. Yeah, definitely, and he'll get DRS on the next straight for good measure. That will just extend the lead probably upwards of a second. Joker gets a time penalty to boot. He's on a pair of mediums, right? and McLeod is on a pair of hards. Right. AJ just got another 3-second penalty, so that's unfortunately game set match without another safety car here to shake up the pack. But OS is closing in on Matusas. He's got into that DRS range and now he's just hanging there, fighting all the way. He thinks now Struggs can relax with that extra 3 seconds, even if he got that warning now. He's got it under control, hasn't he? So as they approach turn 8, he'll try and get a better exit here, and just as long as he can stay within 6 tenths, within a second wheel rather, and he's 6 tenths at the moment, 5 tenths now, he'll have DRS onto the next straight. And he's got DRS. I think he's too far back on this straight, but next straight he'll certainly be able to have a look if he can hold it nicely through this corner. I think importantly though, I think OS will be able to pass, but he won't be able to pull away really, really quickly. So I think this could be a battle to the end here. And yeah, he gets close, but I think he was about that close this time last time. So as I got a follower, who's the follower? It was Zeman. Oh, hello Zeman. Our championship winner last time round. Your teammate Zeman. He's dropped a follow. So thank you for that. And OS is only 4 tenths behind here, similar to last time. I think OS will get Matusas, right? But as his tyres start to wear out, they are going to get quite old, those softs. Oh, we've got another follower. Oh no, we didn't. Yeah, it's any little penalty could cost through here. He's closer than he has been before. He goes for a look, but it'd be audacious, wouldn't it? It'd be very hard to keep it stick around the outside of 2. AJ keeping pace with Struggs, and Struggs has had another penalty. So any little mistake there, any little notch, and I think AJ will come seeping through. I wonder if AJ has recharged his battery a bit. Yeah, but similar levels of ERS still. So Matusas in this Alpine, can he hold off the Ferrari? I think the Ferrari's closer than it has been before. So this is oh, big correction there. Almost sunk it into the wall. I was about to say this is his chance, but he falls back into that 6 tenths range, which we've seen isn't enough to close down Matusas having greater speed here, and I think Fade is a bit too far back to be involved in this battle by the end of it, including having more penalties. OS lucky not to fall out of the race there. Almost binned it into the exit of turn 9. So we'll close in again. Right. So he'll probably get McLeod, right? Yeah. Oh, McLeod's had a good race here. Having said that, he's been quite consistent. I think he just made a single mistake about halfway through. As OS gets a bit closer to Matusas. Matusas trying to fight for possibly his first podium finish? I'm not too sure. It could be his first podium finish, Matusas. In the SRL, obviously OS has had a few of those. So knows what they feel like. Had a few wins for us last season. Not quite on the pace of the front runners this year, OS, but he's coming back a little bit by bit every weekend. I'm sure he'll get a win in that at some point. AJ's dropped from 2 seconds in the lead. This is as close as OS has been through here. Can he get a better exit? Oh, it's a much better exit through there. He'll definitely have a look around the outside or inside. Where does Matusas want to defend it? And Matusas wants to defend it around the outside. Can he keep it in there? No, Matusas has to give that one away. So, OS is by. Can he build it? Oh, no. He has a bit of a twitch. Oof. That is frustrating. So, Matusas now has the DOS. How quickly will Matusas come by? It would be so demoralising if OS fought so hard to get by and then suddenly Matusas just comes sailing through straight after. And I think Matusas has greater straight line speed, I would say, and is probably starting to have greater tyre life in those tyres. Yeah, it's 2 seconds to gap there, so he's started to go backwards, AJ, and he's fought valiantly to stay in that range. I think, unless a penalty happens for Struggs, it's game, set, match at the front. But Matusas only 3 tenths behind OS, having a similar drive out of there. Can he get in range? I don't think he wants to use any OS. I think he just wants to go around for another time. Can OS? He's starting to struggle on these rides. Had a big twitch through here last time round. Can he deploy the traction correctly? He can. So OS doing enough to hold him off. Similar amounts of penalties between the top 4. So these are battles on merit on the track. Fade hasn't gained that much time on those medium tyres, so it's looking like 5th place for Fade at this stage, unless there's a late incident. Matusas is close here, 3 tenths. You'd expect him to be able to have a shot. Oh, and there's a punt. There is a contact. I think Matusas just lets him go there. He's just got a bit too much, a bit too little braking into that corner and got caught out by how slow the line OS was taking. And he's given that place back, hasn't he? He's not attacked through here, and he backed off. So that's good driving, good etiquette from Matusas, and now he's fully available to take an overtake. Does he think about it? I think it's a bit too far back, 4 tenths behind as he runs through turn 2. It's running out of laps to get by here. Both running low on EOS. AJ has caught up a second to Struggs, so Struggs may have made a mistake. It's tight at the front, but Matusas only 3 tenths behind here. And he gets a much better drive through turn 6 and 7. Will he think about going for a move here? You've just got to get the job done. And he does. He does think about a move. They go side by side. No. Matusas just ducks out of that one. He'll have a good opportunity going into the final lap to take the position here. They will battle like hammer and tongs. AJ pushing Struggs all the way to the end here. Great pace from those two. I think even pace throughout the race. And Struggs and AJ having similar levels of EOS usage at this stage of the race. So Matusas gets a bit of a run on OS. He takes the inside line. I think he gets the job done. Does he get the job done? He does. He does get the job done. But OS is fighting all the way. Oh, did he? Right, okay, that's going to be... Oh, there's contact. There is contact. I think OS will know now that the fight is over with that 3-second penalty, and I think he'll not want to cause any shenanigans into... if he whacks them off here, it would definitely be time penalties, and I think he'll just back off, so we'll go on board with AJ. AJ has DOS. For the first time in a number of laps, AJ has DOS. Can he do enough to put the pressure on Struggs? Struggs now just 2 braking zones away from the win. That'll be back-to-back wins in the Syndicate Racing League, the first time since OS did it last season. So I think he just fell out of DOS there. No, he does have DOS, but I think he's too far back here, AJ. I think it would take a miracle through this final corner. 1 more braking zone. as we ride on board with Struggs. And he takes the win at Canada. He's been supreme, and these two have raced so hard throughout. I think Matusas has held OS on track as well. OS getting that extra penalty, fighting through there, and OS going for the line. I think he's took it. I think he'll get it, and I think he'll contest. He will contest that penalty, I reckon, because they had got it going side by side through there. So that'll be an interesting one. That third place could be decided, but that's it. That's it. We still have Niall and Lou running, but Lou has actually took McLeod on track by the looks of it at some stage. Right, okay. So Niall crosses the line, 6th place, a good result for the Aston Martin team, 6th and 7th. And Struggs will go up to 50 seconds, I think. No problems for the commentary, Will. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hope I made your night shift a bit better. Shame that your teammate couldn't pull in the results, but I'm sure you'll be back stronger for next week, which is... I should know where it is, shouldn't I, right? I put the calendar together. I'll have a quick look. It is Australia next week. Australia, just a standard race next week. But Matusas gets the in-driver day. Obviously, the driver of the day nominations and moment of the day nominations will come flooding in soon. But an interesting race. I'm going to go quiet now and just quickly make sure I get the clip of the results. But tell us what was your kind of moment of the day from watching? So we have Struggs taking the podium. Yeah, it'd be really interesting in the nominations. A long black screen now. I was a bit worried for a second that it all gone wrong. That would be very painful. But we have the final results. We have Struggs taking the win from AJ. Fade. Oh, so this is not actually the results of the race, but I'll get the results of the race in here. There we are. Right, okay. Someone's already readied up, so I've had to be quick here. And I'll get the results of sprints in here as well, just so it's in one place. That's good that they're separated out. And if I go to Race Director, and I'm not going to be able to look at it since someone's readied up too quickly. So that's good. I'll just take a clip of that. FR results. Right, okay. So that concludes the race. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Kev. Obviously, you're a racer, so I hope not to have you back so soon. But if you do crash out, you're always welcome to join the commentary box. You did a great job, Kev. And congratulations to our race winner, Struggs. And AJ taking 2nd place. That was hard fought. And I think OS or Matusas getting 3rd place there. I think it was Matusas on the screen, but we'll see if that penalty, that final penalty warning, is protested from OS. So yeah, this has been a Syndicate Racing League production. Yeah, thank you very much. Cool stuff. Right, okay, now I'm in the menu system. They shouldn't be able to hear me.